Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Blue-Red Delver with Cori-Steel Cutter. And you may notice there is no Delver in this. This is a Delverless shell because we're playing this awesome new equipment from the new Dragonstorm set. And let me read it. So it's one colorless, one red to cast it. And whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you get to create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess, and then you can attach this equipment to it. So your 1/1 immediately becomes a 2/2 with prowess and trample and haste. That's pretty awesome for 2 mana. But you have to cast your second spell after you cast the Cori-Steel Cutter. So this has to be your first spell of the turn, and then you can play out one of these 8 baubles that are in here, and then you get your monk and you can attack. And if you have other spells to cast, the prowess is going to pile on, and you can potentially do this every single turn. So this is a very good low rate aggro card that you can play in a Delver shell. So we've removed the Delver. We still have Dragon Rage Chandler, which is the best of the Delver creatures, and it's going to help fill up our graveyard very quickly because we have tons of chief spells, we have tons of baubles, so that we can bring out the large Murktides to finish up in the air if our ground plan gets stalled out. We also have lots of disruption in the 4 Force of Wills, the 4 Dazes, the 4 Wastelands, and lots of burn to help finish off the opponent and give us reach. So it's a pretty simple linear deck, really. Brazen Borrower is really our only recourse against permanents that can't be killed with 3 damage. One of the original lists that I was looking at had some Unholy Heats, but I really like having Chain Lightning just because it's another type that helps get Delirium for DRC, and it's just 3 more points of damage. Why not? Sideboard is pretty simple. We've got 3 Grafdigger's Cage for Oops All spells and other graveyard strategies. We've got 2 Hydroblasts and 3 Pyroblast. These go without explanation. They're just good. We've got 2 Price of Progress. This is good against land strategies, big control strategies. 2 Meltdown. These are good against Karn Forge. These are good against Chalice of the Void decks. And we've got 3 Force Negation just as an additional tool against combo. So we're going to hope to just go under a lot of the control decks that are in the meta. We're going to hope to outrace a lot of the more traditional aggro decks by just going wide with Cori-Steel Cutter. And we're going to hope to go over the top of a lot of decks with just a giant Murktide that's bigger than anything our opponents can do. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against the Shallow Grave, and true to their name, they are a Reanimator player, so we need to respect that. I am definitely going to mull this hand. This is just not good against Reanimator. This has days. We're on the draw. I don't really think this is good enough. These bolts probably don't even matter. Murktide doesn't matter early on. We can put that back and we have double days. I think the odds of double days getting us there are low. Our opponent has not mulliganed. We don't have a follow-up land either. We're going to have to ponder for anything to do. This isn't a great hand. Let's mulligan this. And I'm aware that we're going to probably get like just shredded into the ground with disruption spells, but I'm going to keep this. I think this land goes back. I don't think we're going to ever need a second land where we're going. I'll keep 1 land because I want to use it to get Delirium. I think we probably do want to go double DRC. Now I'm just going to go 1 DRC. And I'm going to hope that the Bauble gets this Delirious. And we're going to hope to ride the DRC to victory. Yep. That was tough. This is a tough matchup, and we're on the draw too. So this is the discard spell? No? All right, so I'm going to let this resolve, and now we're going to get discarded. I'm going to force the Entomb. Hopefully they don't have a second one. They could Thoughtseize themselves if they have anything going on over there. They should have Thoughtseized first. That was greedy of them, but they may have... Oh, they did Thoughtseize themselves, and they have a Gristlebrand. They don't have a reanimation effect, but we're probably dead anyway, unfortunately. But yeah, you always have to stop the Entomb. So I don't think there's likely any chance that we can survive, like assuming that they have the reanimation effect. We already blew our interaction. We're going to do our thing here. Oh, I played out a Scalding Tarn, which was a misplay. I should have played out the Misty because I told them that we drew the land for turn. That was totally unnecessary. That goes in the graveyard. And just like that, we are Delirious, but I don't think it's going to matter unless they somehow have whiffed on reanimation effects. Yeah, I think likely they're just going to go land Reanimate here, or... Oh, Daze is good. Daze is really good. Okay, wow. We might actually still be in this. I'm going to hit them. And then post-combat, I'm just going to go ahead and bolt them. I'm kind of thinking about holding this Chain Lightning. Let's see what we find off this. That goes in the yard. I'm kind of thinking about... I know I have this in hand. We'll need it anyway to shuffle. Yeah, I'll play it out just because I might need to do something double mana next turn. Like a Merc. 4 cards in hand. There's the Unmask. There's no point in me paying mana for this, unfortunately. Now they have the card. Shallow Grave. So this comes in. They get to draw, and then they can swing, and then they can draw again, and they're looking at 14 cards. There's no way we're coming back from this. Okay. So luckily, our sideboard has the best anti-graveyard card ever printed in it. Grafdigger's Cage. By the way, my account might look like really weird. I just got my MTGO creator account, and I want to thank everybody that has been tuning in to the Be Excellent channel. Everybody who subscribed and got me over the threshold. Yeah, they let me into the program. So now I can not only play leagues and experiment, but I can experiment with all these different cards that I wouldn't necessarily pay money for. Like these Cori-Steel cutters. I've been excited to play with them, but they're I don't know, 20 tickets or something. So it is nice to be able to play without having to pay. So I really appreciate that. And I'm going to experiment with a lot of decks so that you all can figure out what you actually want to spend your tickets getting here. But that is just a little bit about what I'm doing here. I'm actually, it's smaller. The deck has so many 1-drops that it really skews how it looks. I'm not sure if it's because I'm on a Mac, but it's super sluggish. It's over here. All right. Okay. And it's not designed to be played on a Mac, by the way. If anybody's wondering how I'm playing on a Mac, I have a detailed guide to doing that. I think I tweeted it out a month or two ago. Just find it on Twitter or on Blue Sky. I post on both. And what I think we do is we just take out all our bolts. And I actually have a sideboard guide in the video description, and it talks about what substitutions to make where. But yeah, we can just take out all our bolts. I don't think they're going to matter. It will suck if our opponent has exactly... let's take a look. Do they ever bring in... They bring in Douthie Voidwalker. I think I want to respect Douthie Voidwalker. I'm actually pretty terrified of Douthie Voidwalker. This also kills their Witherbloom Apprentice, so I think it's worth keeping the bolts in. I think we take out the Wastelands completely. Yeah, I'm just going to take them out completely. I know that's weird going down to 14 land. The deck can do it. We have tons of baubles. Wasteland is just not good. Oh, we did see... Okay, I'll keep a couple in. And maybe I'll just trim a couple baubles. I know it's a big part of our deck. I'll trim a couple baubles. I'll trim the bad baubles. Okay, let's do it. So that doesn't exactly follow the sideboard substitution plan that I had lined up. So this is a great hand if they don't just destroy us. We have so many good cards. I'm going to mulligan until I find a Grafdigger's Cage. Okay, this is a keep. Let's put back the bauble. It does nothing right now. And then we'll just try to fill up our graveyard and swing at him with the giant Merc. I mean, Bauble's not completely dead, but I'd vastly prefer having a cantrip. And now they can Thoughtseize this and do all this stuff, but they actually have to get rid of this this Grafdigger's Cage to win. So they can take their alternate win con route with Witherbloom Apprentice. That is a very powerful alternate win con. I wouldn't be surprised if they juked into that. We'll see. This is one of the best Reanimator players in the world. I think, certainly MTGO, you're going to find generally the best players. Is they're going to see our hand. No, we've got nothing going on except some cantrips, but we are going to be able to take that Wasteland that Badlands from them. They clear our Ponder, so we don't have the ability to shuffle our Brainstorm. That's a really good draw. I accidentally passed through my main phase. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'll just chill with cards up. Okay, they have no actions. I'm just going to be patient. I don't want to get Brainstorm locked here. How long can I afford to be patient? The odds of us drawing a fetch land when we've already used one. We've got 7 fetches in 51 cards. I don't think those are particularly great odds. I think I'm going to go ahead and just cast this now, and I'll just look at what they're going to get here. Just get some information. Okay, they're getting a Bloodstained Mire. Does that mean I want to go ahead and go? I'll just wait another turn, and I'll get 2 cards deeper into my deck. I can always emergency Brainstorm if I need to. There's a second cage. All right, I'm going to play out the second cage. I don't think they have any. If they have a way to kill this, they probably don't have a way to kill the second one. They could have like Meltdown or something in their deck. All right, there's the fetch. I think we can go ahead and brainstorm at this point. I doubt they're playing Bowmasters. Okay, and there we have a Merc, which is precisely what we need. DRC is fine. We will have... We're actually shy. So what I could do... I think I just want to keep the blue card for Merc. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cast the second cage. Is that necessary? I don't think it's necessary. Let's see. There's like no way they're dealing with this cage. I'll just put back this redundant cage. And then I can shuffle those away. I'll just hold up a Brainstorm. One of these Mercs will get pitched to Brainstorm. The other, or pitched to Force. If they Thoughtseize me, I can still get one in. If they do somehow miraculously deal with my Grafdigger's Cage with some tech that's not on that recent deck list, then I have another one on top. I think we're fine to just clear this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just... Wait, it skipped my upkeep? I didn't have a stop on my upkeep? Okay, let me double check my stops. That is seriously weird. Okay, well that is very unfortunate because we drew a card we didn't want. But I'm going to go ahead and just Merc. I'll do a baby Merc here. It'll still kill in like 4 turns. It's fine. Yeah, but that's frustrating that like I definitely did not want that card. I will go ahead and keep... I think we're more likely to encounter a land than we are to encounter artifact. Well, I'll do it like that. Blue, blue. All right. Yeah, like this could have been any random good card in our deck other than a redundant cage. So I definitely... this is fine. I'm going to let them do it. Hopefully they go really low in life. Sometimes they can just die. They go to 1. That shuts off a lot of things they can do. They unmask. Do they have the win? Are they going to somehow win through a cage with just this little amount of mana? Well, I'm not going to force this. Yeah, wow. Oh, we're winning. We're losing. We are losing. They have Witherbloom, and then they have the freaking Chain of Smog. Okay. Not an auspicious start to the league. Yeah. That was surprising. And that was a really close game. Literally 1 life. If they'd had to go 1 card deeper, they would have died. All right. Well, see you in round 2. Round 2, we're on the draw against an unknown opponent. They have mulliganed. When my opponent mulligans, that is a sign that I should probably mulligan too and try to get a force, because it's a sign they're probably on combo. This hand is not exceptional. It's fine. This hand is insane. Yeah, we're keeping this hand. This is great. Okay. So what we have here, we have Bolt for creature and damage. We have Force, blue card. I'm kind of thinking of putting back the Bolt. We have land, Bobble, Daze. We might be able to get Delirium in time. I like the idea of keeping both Daze and Force up. I am going to put this away. They're on a Wasteland deck. There they go. Those Wastelands. All right. Wasteland and Lotus Petal in the same deck. Chalice on 1. I mean, we can't beat that, sadly. Yeah, I'm just going to force it. Okay, so we have 2 options. 1, we just get on board and take our medicine. Oh, we can Wasteland their Wasteland. I think I'll do that. Yeah, that was a good draw. Now we will be able to play our land next turn. Oh no, they have another Wasteland? Okay. Well, hopefully we draw another land, because I do want to go ahead and play out this DRC. Odds are we do not draw another land. In fact, I'd be stunned if we even draw another land in this game. Okay, so we bobble. We DRC, we bobble. They use their Wasteland against us. They have nothing going on over there, as far as I can tell. I'm not going to be a coward and fetch an island. I'm just going to live with the fact that I have nothing going on. I'm going to get this DRC on the table. We have a Mishra's Bobble trigger that can help us dig a little bit closer to another land. But our deck is just not designed to function on Basic Island. We do have blue cards that we can use, but it's not desirable. I mean, this is a land. I'm going to keep it. We can go after their land and maybe screw them. And a situation where we're both screwed favors us. Eldrazi Linebreaker. Okay. They may hold this to be able to cast stuff. And if they do, that's good for us. So they're on Eldrazi. If they do give us an opportunity to daze, okay, they're not going to give us that. Okay. All right. Well, we're not able to get Delirious yet. I think I wait. They play their best land and then I waste them. Because if I play this out, they'll play bad lands first. But they're going to play their best land currently. Also, I do think that Price of Progress is going to be really good against their deck. All right. That's another good card. We may be able to get Delirious if we force something. And then once we're Delirious, this game gets a lot easier. Okay. They don't have land. They do have a lot more lands in their deck than we do. Okay, this is good. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this out. Now we have Daze up. We have 2 creatures. They have Wasteland number 3. I'll live in that world. That's okay. Okay, another Volk. We could just play out a Merc. I'm not convinced that's where we want to be. I'm going to play out this Volk. I'm just going to attack with both. The second they do something, we'll be able to accelerate our clock, but I'm not complaining about the current situation. I think they got really greedy with wasting us. If they need mana for themselves. Yeah. Okay. All right. So against Eldrazi, we're going to bring in Price of Progress. We're going to bring in Meltdown. I probably should be playing... I mean, this is like one of those matchups where you wish you were playing... because Meltdown doesn't really hit anything in their deck other than exactly Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void is like lights out against us. So we can hope just to somehow dodge it. We have Brazen Borrower that answers it. My son just got home from basketball practice. I'm going to mute. And by mute, I mean close the door so the piano's not quite as loud. But my son does enjoy playing piano. So you'll hear that in the background of my videos if you're new to my videos. My daughter plays piano too, but not with the same level of fervor as my son. He just loves it. He does it all the time. He just walks up to it. Okay, so I think that this is where we want to be. Just lots of burn. Hope to Price of Progress them. Hope to get under the Chalice. But if they Chalice us, we have 18 spells. That locks out a lot of our deck. But we can still win, potentially, off of Murktide, Cori-Steel. We've still got action. It's just not as good. Yeah. And we should note that we're playing 18 lands, which may seem like a really low count. It's not low by Delver standards. I mean, this does what we want to do. This is susceptible to Chalice and Wasteland. I don't really like it, to be completely candid. Like, this is too high risk for me. I really wish we had a Force. I would take a Borrower. I would take a second land. This is like a really good Delver hand, but on the draw, it's also extremely risky if they play either Wasteland or Chalice. And we've seen from the first game that they are willing to like be very aggressive with their Wastelands. I was going to say like this deck plays 18 land, but there's a high risk, high reward. But we do play 8 baubles, so I'm going to mulligan this. Am I crazy for mulliganing this? We have some sideboard cards we could draw too. This feels a lot safer. Yeah, let's keep this. I will put back the Redundant Force. I'm not planning to force more than one thing. I'm planning to turn to Cori-Steel Cutter, bobble, get the trigger, and attack. So we're going to hope they use a lot of resources on disrupted things that don't matter. Mox Diamond is fine. That's a 2-for-1, basically. That does make me wonder if maybe we should bring in Meltdown just because it hits Chalice and Mox. We'll see how many of those they play. Thorn of Amethyst. I do think we have to counter this. It's just too much of a pain for our low mana deck. It's going to make Cori-Steel Cutter prohibitive to use. So we can just play this out and chill. We can always get an island if we need to. But I'll probably just get double Volk so we don't get wasted off red. Okay, what do you have for us here? 3 mana. Fleshraker. I wish I could do something about it, but I'm not going to Desperation Brainstorm. Okay. We have a lot of bolts in our deck. I don't think Wasteland is where we want to be. I think we want to go ahead and Steel Cutter and attack. So it's quite easy for them to just throw their Glaring Fleshraker in front of this. Or to just take, like, surely they'll just take the damage. Steel Cutter comes out. Now we're going to trigger it for free with this bobble. Boom. 2/2. Yes, I would like to equip it. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and look at one of the random cards in their hand. We'll draw that next turn. We see Kozilek's Command. That takes care of this for 0 mana. They do need extra Colorless mana, which they don't currently have. So we'll come in next turn. We can waste that Wasteland. Hopefully that'll set them back. Okay, they're just letting us through. That's fine. We draw a card. Force would be insane. I'll take pretty much anything. Merc. We're not that far from Merc. We could just Brainstorm and then Merc. We can't do that the same turn cycle. I hope they waste us. Okay, now I'm going to waste that Eldrazi Temple. Are they going to kill our creature? They may do a big K command here. Thana's here. That's unfortunate. I don't think we're going to win this game anymore. That's a pretty big blocker. They'll probably take our Merc because Merc is like really powerful against Eldrazi. The casting cost is huge. I would be stunned if they take the Brainstorm here. Next turn they have the K command on Glaring Fleshraker, Modern Horizons combo. It's also worth noting that like my token does have haste. It's going to come in as a 3/3, and if I can cast a second spell, it could even come in as a 4/4. They opted to take the Brainstorm? Okay. Or, yeah, that's fine with me. I'm going to cast it next turn. They're not going to get to 7 mana. I'll have a Merc that can just... Oh, does this... See, we have 3 card types. We're not going to be able to... I think I'm going to go ahead and just waste them and Merc. This is Prowess triggers on non-creature spells. I think we have to probably keep this back. We're not going to be able to kill that in combat. But this keeps everything but the actual Thought-Knots here from attacking. We could always equip this. That's not a bad idea. They get rid of the token, but then we just equip the Merc and we're hitting them for 5. And then maybe we can race from there. It's not a perfect world. We could just use the DRC as a means of like stalling, essentially. I hope I'm not missing some line. As always, I invite you to leave comments with timestamps if you see some mistake I'm making. But I feel like getting a Merc out now that is hard for them to K command is more powerful than getting a DRC, which is easily K commanded out of the way. Okay, Eye of Ugin's a very good card for them to have here. Okay, they're going to just K command for 3, unfortunately, because Eye of Ugin just gives them essentially free triggers on that. They can create a bunch of constructs that can drain us of a bunch of life. They're going to hit us for 4 here. They won't be able to hit us with the Glaring Fleshraker because of the Merc. Yeah, we're in a pretty bad way here. That Thanatsier was pretty brutal because it represents a bigger creature than what we can generally deal with. This deck has fallen off a lot. It's a lot weaker without the Sowing Mycospawn. In fact, I haven't even really played against it very much lately. I just haven't run into people queuing. Like, oh, they opted to Surveil instead of getting rid of this. Yeah, that's fine. I guess they're just unintimidated by this. So how did they stack their K command? 1 top. So they found a card they wanted. That's not good for us. All right, so Thought-Knots here can safely get in. They choose not to attack. This Price of Progress will be a great surprise, but I am a little bit worried that we won't have the mana for it. So the fact that they're not attacking, I kind of want to move this over to here. That costs 2 mana to move the equipment over. That means we can't deploy our DRC. DRC is basically a dead card in our hand at this point. We have so little going on with it. But if we move this over, this basically means they can't attack with Thought-Knots here. We attack for 5. We have to cast Price when they're not tapped out. Like, usually, ideally, a Delver deck is ahead, but we're not. I think what I'm going to do is just... I think I am going to go ahead and invest in moving this over. Is that right, though? I think I'm just going to drop this and wait. I know it doesn't do anything, but it is a chump blocker to, potentially multi-block or dissuade attacks. Because I might be able to like cantrip chain. I mean, like this all assumes they're not going to waste us. It's extremely unlikely that if they just have the K command, the game's over. I think this actually is the end of the game. If they're, I think we can concede. Okay, let's go to game 3. So we get to be on the play, which means we get our 1-drop underneath Chalice this time. I kind of like Meltdown here. They did have 3 artifacts. What will we take out? I'm just going to take out a melt. I'll just do 1 Meltdown, and I will take out... Oh, I think I actually was at 62 cards last game. Sorry, my excellent friends. That was not playing tight. Days coming out is not the worst here. They have tremendous mana production abilities. I don't actually think Days is that great at all against Eldrazi. I think you're very lucky if you actually stop something. We can leave the squirrely one of Days in, but it's possible that Meltdown is going to be more impactful. I'm not sure. Like a more experienced Delver player might be like, oh, what are you doing taking out your Dazes? That's a good card. But it feels like it's not going to be a good card against them. On the play, generally I would have it in. Yeah, maybe I'll just keep one in. Let's do actually, Brazen Borrower was terrible against them. I'd rather have a Meltdown than a Brazen Borrower. Because like Brazen Borrowing some sort of artifact out of play, you just want to get rid of it. They can easily recast it. I think the bolts stay in. Yeah, basically all the burn stays in. All right, this is a pretty okay hand. It's not great. I think we keep it and we just immediately fire off the bauble to get deeper into our deck, and we can use that to decide whether we want to shuffle. We can always do the end step bolt if they don't play out anything scary, but I don't like doing that. They've got a temple. I meant to look at my own deck. That was dumb. I just reflexively clicked there. Okay, Steel Cutter. Unfortunately, pairs very well with the bauble we just used. Would love for them to drop Petal's fine. Just invest in a Chalice or something that we can take care of. Okay. That's annoying. I think we have to let it happen, sadly, because I want to do an epic meltdown. I am going to need 3 mana now to melt that down. We won't pull lands out of our deck. Oh, wow. We actually drew a land. That's great. So now I can just chill for another turn cycle. And then we can melt down and get rid of this. And maybe they play another artifact out. We'll see. Ayavugan, that's not fun. They have a ton of mana. Fleshraker. So they played their land for turn in Ayavugan, right? Was that last turn? That was this turn. No, they played the Eldrazi Temple this turn. Okay. So I have to wait until they do something. And then when I have priority, I can go ahead and fetch and bolt this thing. And I will do that. And I'll pay all the mana. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. You don't give them an opportunity to do anything here, in my opinion. You just always go take it away. Okay, it's gone. Now we're just going to take a turn to melt some face. Ooh, wait a second. This doesn't hit Thorn of Amethyst. We need one more. Oh, we actually need 4 mana to melt this down? Because it's 2 mana? We can't really do anything else. We could just drop a giant Merc. It's not a giant Merc. It's a 4/4. I'm going to do it. I think it's not going to get melted down. And then there is a small chance that we do draw. No, wait. I can't. Wait, it's a creature, right? Non-creature. Okay, so we can cast this. That's nice. Okay, so we're going to start beating them with this. But this is a seriously awkward game. Like, we need to draw another land, and we need them to not draw a Wasteland. Because they can definitely keep us trapped under this for a while. If they have so many different things they could have. They do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're very close to being able to exile. Well, actually, they need 9 to K-command that away. They seem to have drawn a bunch of lock pieces or something. I think what I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and brainstorm main phase. I still have days up technically. Okay, Wasteland's great. I kind of want to take out the eye. If we wait a turn, they have 1, 2, 3, 4. They need 7 to activate it. I'm going to do the high risk, high reward thing and not take out the eye yet. I'm going to play this out just to scare them a little bit. I'll swing in. But really all I'm looking to do here, actually, yeah, I can play out this bauble. So I'll just pay mana for it. I should have gone ahead and activated it probably to get deeper into our deck. We know we're drawing. So I have days if they attempt a Wasteland, but like, yeah, that's scary. They have Devourer of Destiny. That's pretty devastating. Man, now they're going to be able to take our meltdown. We can't stop this. We might be able to erase it. Let's see what else is in their hand. I mean, this is just kind of a random place to fire it off. Mystic Forge? Mystic Forge? It's terrifying. So it's a hybrid Mystic Forge Eldrazi deck. They have 1. They don't have nearly enough mana to cast it. Yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do here, sadly, is I'm going to have to waste this eye. I think I'm going to do it now before they can do anything else. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Okay. I just need to reduce their resources, keep them away from killing this. I am ahead on the clock in terms of having already hit them. There's no way they don't take the meltdown here. But actually, the fact that I wasted... I should have waited to see what they did, but I didn't want them to be like, okay, now the coast is clear and I can slam my really powerful card. So I definitely think that might have been a misplay because let's say they didn't take the meltdown. Now they don't have to take the meltdown. They can take the Cori-Steel cutter instead. And if they have a follow-up threat, they can outrace me. This Daze is dead as a doornail in my hand. So I get a few swings ahead. And then we drop the pop. That would be like the dream. Okay, they did take it anyway. So didn't really ultimately matter. Draw trigger. Chain lightning. I think we just start chain lightning their face. We could go ahead and Cori-Steel cutter. And then we can chain lightning. We're going to be aggroing them for sure. There's no doubt about that. I will go ahead and just Cori-Steel cutter. Worst case scenario, I can equip it for extra damage. I don't anticipate Daze being live. That's why I'm tapping out. Because they have Cavern. They can Mystic Forge, but it's like pretty slow. It does use life to clear the top. And yeah, here's Mystic Forge. I could have not Dazed that because of the pedal. Oh, they're going to opt not to cast it. Okay, Chalice is unfortunate. They didn't know that I have the 1-drops in my hand, so they just got kind of lucky there. Oh, let's see. 8? I think they're just dead. Yeah, I'm just going to kill them with Price of Progress. The way that Wizards intended when they printed this card 20 years ago. Kill freaking Eldrazi players. Well, GG's. All right, perfect. That came out perfectly. Okay, so Price of Progress, very strong against Eldrazi. I think what they're doing with like all this fancy stuff is suboptimal, personally. I'm not an Eldrazi player, but like I think the Eldrazi builds that I've played against, I've actually lost against Eldrazi several times since the banning of Sowing Mycospawn, and what they were doing was they were just going incredibly aggro, like just taking out all the control elements and just basically going the line breaker route. And that is very aggressive. Granted, I think I was playing control decks when I lost to it. I think Delver has a significant advantage against Eldrazi, even though it has a lot of 1-drops that get swept up by Chalice. So yeah, that was fun. I'm going to get my kids ready for bed, and then I'll be back in ASMR mode where I'm like whispering into the mic because my kids are asleep. I hope that doesn't bother you too much, and we'll finish the rounds. All right. Round 3, we're up against a likely death. Oops All Spells player, Death from Above. They just trophied with Oops a few hours ago. I think I'm going to mulligan this and try to Final Force. That is not a great hand, but against Oops All Spells, I mean, it has the bubble for the redraw. I'm going to put back one of these Dazes. That way I can use the Ponder to dig for a second land. If they are on something other than Oops, I'm going to look like a total fool. There's the Oops. Here's the Thoughtseize. We are dead in the water. We have literally nothing going on here. We can waste them, but it's probably not going to be good enough. If they have interaction, they'll almost certainly take the Force, though. By the way, I've got the cool art Force. This is the original one. This is what I play with paper. It's just really expensive on MTGO. All right. It's a good draw. I think what we do is we go ahead and Island Ponder and we try to find another Force. We got lucky. We're giving our opponent the knowledge. That's what we drew. I'm going to any order shuffle. At least I have Daze up now. DRC is not the worst. With the bobble, we get. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and cast and dig through this. They got a Bogart Trawler coming. So that's a land source, basically. Brainstorm's not bad at all. Once we get this DRC going, it'll be delirious and we'll win pretty quickly. Unfortunately, they know we have double Daze and they can take the double Daze. We can at least make them pay for it. I hate to do this. This feels so terrible. It's just like such a unfortunate sequence. But yeah, they should absolutely pay for this, and then they should name the therapy. They may name Brainstorm now. And if you think that was wrong, let me know. But like getting 2 cards therapy out of your hand, they chose Daze, so we would have lost it anyway. We did set ourselves back a land drop, but interesting that they're playing that. That tells me they probably have the creature juke. They may even have some main deck creatures. So they've seen our hand. We got super lucky here. I'm just going to waste and hope that they're constrained on mana. That'll give me a chance to potentially draw additional cards. But like our opponent has no reason to expect that we drew a Force. We just got very lucky. They put that in tapped, so it tells me that the Wasteland probably did something in terms of holding them back for a turn. I'm going to go ahead and play the DRC. She's delirious. They are at 12, so this is a 4-turn clock currently. We just have to hope that they go for it, thinking they're safe. Because why wouldn't they think they're safe? Oh, they say congrats on the DV. Okay, so we are going to force here. Yeah, we just got super duper lucky here. We'll see if they have the force, like the pact. We just got so lucky here. I'm going to put this into the graveyard. I mean, this does take a turn off the clock, but like I would rather draw into like an additional days or something. Wow, we got so lucky. We drew a bolt anyway. I think we go ahead and just bolt now just to see what we're drawing and surveil. That definitely goes in the yard. We can hold this as a potential brainstorm. I think that's better than playing it out. It doesn't really accomplish anything. They've got 1 turn to make it work. If they have just like a follow-up Undercity Informer, they can win. Wow, that was super luck. That was 100% luck. They had a really great start, and we were able to take it apart. Super duper lucky. As Napoleon says, he likes generals that are good, but even better is the generals that are lucky. Okay, so these are coming in. Pretty simple sideboard substitutions. I mean, we could just pull out all our bolts. Cori-Steel Cutter is slower than DRC, but I don't like to go completely without win cons. Murktide is blue. I mean, my instinct is to take out the Chain Lightnings. Actually, yeah, because they're probably going to bring in the creature plan. But like most of their creatures can't be killed by Chain Lightning anyway. It does grant Delirium. It is just a strictly worse Lightning Bolt, other than the fact that it helps with Delirium. The other option we have is to bring in the Hydroblast just so we have more density of blue and take stuff out. I don't think that's correct. There are specific situations in which Lightning Bolt can help us close. And I think this might be foil. I have the foil animation turned off. I'm going to get non-foil cards for the future. It makes everything look weird and foggy. Yeah, like I totally get the vibe that they're going to go with a creature juke here. Does Cori-Steel Cutter even matter when they're attacking us with these? Like Murktide definitely matters. I think I'm just going to do the most, like meh substitution here. We have lots of things that, other than sorceries, that can potentially turn on DRC. They could get low enough where Price of Progress could hit them, but I think that's extremely unlikely. Especially if they have Barragoyf in their deck. I think we take out some of these baubles. These are pretty bad. Like, if we're not going the Cori-Steel Cutter route. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll trim some baubles, some bolts. Yeah, I'll do it like that. We still have 6 baubles. So if we do draw one of the Cori-Steel Cutters, we can still use it. Sadly, this would be a great hand against pretty much any other deck. We need force and ideally also a Grafdigger's Cage. And of course, they can go the creature route. This is insane, but it doesn't have a land. I don't think we keep this. I think we go to 4. This is the best hand we've seen. I'm going to keep this. Bottom, bottom, bottom. We're so dead if they're on the creature plan. But we are not completely naked. But you're generally going to lose this on the draw. So I'm not, yeah. Okay, so we're going to play our best card in our deck. Actually, we're going to play this card. As Napoleon says, better lucky than good. Now, if they just saw the creature plan, we're still screwed. They have green mana. That doesn't do anything against us. I don't know actually why they're playing green mana. Kind of confusing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just deploy this, and then we can see what happens. If they play a creature that can't be forced negation, I can brainstorm and potentially find something to pitch to it. But like, yeah, Nethergoyf, or not Nethergoyf, Barragoyf. There are a lot of very scary creatures that they can play. Rotting Regisaur. Okay, they're going slow, which is great for us. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to get greedy and brainstorm. I want a perfect brainstorm. Borrower is not exceptional. I'm going to brainstorm. If I can find a wasteland, I want to start firing those off. Put anything in the graveyard here, basically to feed a potential Merc. Daze just isn't good enough. Yeah, I'm going to bin. I mean, we already have instant type from the brainstorm. Okay, this is great. So we can wasteland and we can bobble. We put back Borrower and DRC. Now we cast this. We bin the DRC. We're going to hit them. See what their top card is. That will draw the Brazen Borrower. Now I'm going to waste their only black source. And now we're going to hit them for 3. That's what you call basically a perfect turn. Like, I'm pretty proud. It took a lot of practice. Not a ton of practice. I probably played Delver maybe 8 or 9 leagues. But it took me a while to see those kinds of lines where like, oh, wow, I can get Delirium here. That's why this card is so cracked. All right. And it's not going to matter here, unfortunately. Well, actually, this is just combat. Like, they don't have a way to win with this thing. Unless they can clear that, which they may be able to. All right. I will take the days for sure. That's a pretty good draw. And we're just going to win through combat here. We're just going to keep cracking them every turn. We've cast all the spells we need to cast this game. As long as they don't have any explosive thing they're going to do here. This is why Grafdigger's Cage, it shuts down all their flashback stuff. It's just an insane card. It's great. They can hit us for 2. We don't care. Okay, another DRC. That doubles the clock. Let's swing first. I don't think there's any... I mean, we can always borrow next turn if we need to. We have a lot of options with our current hand. They're very dead here. They opt not to attack. No point, I guess the creature would have died. They could still have something up their sleeves. Like a Force Negation. Or Force of Vigor, I mean. Could kill this. Yeah, Force of Vigor would be brutal if that's what they have in their hand. I don't think they play enough green cards to support it. But that would be why they're stopping in their upkeep, maybe. And they're, extremely experienced at this. We've gotten very lucky against them. And I don't think this is a favorable matchup. I think it's probably a 50-50 matchup. Even with all our counter magic in the Grafdigger's Cage, the fact that we have so much main deck respect for their deck. They lost connection. So I think most likely they're just having connection issues. I'm going to check my connection, make sure it's not on my side. Okay, they're back. Oh, what a freaking draw. All right. I feel pretty safe. I'll be stunned if we lose here. Not going to do anything. Send me the Spirit Guide. Send me the Spirit Guide. Okay. This is a lot of mana. What is this? Mother of all spells. So much mana going in the pool. Okay. What does this do? So my instinct is to go ahead and force this. I don't know what could go wrong, but something could go wrong. It's just they draw cards. So they draw 2 cards. They just conceded with that on the stack. They were like, he's thinking about forcing it, whatever. Yeah, GG's to you too. I'm not a fan of your deck, but you seem totally chill. Definitely a player I'd like to play in paper. All right, see you in round 4. All right, we're up against a likely white depths. White? What's white for? Oh, Ashen Rider. Okay. So it's mono black depth, basically. This does have a Wasteland, which is a really good card against them. I'm going to assume that they can't just win immediately. They may have a turn 1 win, but I do want to get this DRC online. This is a pretty good hand. It's got the bobble and the... Whenever you have a DRC and a bobble, that just kickstarts the whole thing. It's pretty awesome. So I'm going to lead with this Misty, and the reason is I do want to get a graveyard card, and I may have to just park this and leave it out. And I don't want that to be the fact that I don't have a Misty in my graveyard. I know I'm giving up on a brainstorm shuffle. I just want to be very clear that I'm intentionally doing this. And it may be counterintuitive, but it's worth it to get the extra damage off DRC if we get the window to do so. So our opponent is molded. We can kind of see what they've got going on over there. That goes in the grave. Yeah, that's the instant in the graveyard. And then we just... Dark Ritual, huh? Well, we do have a Daze. We draw Merc. That's pretty good. And that's a reason to put the Bolt in there so we can just... it might be worth it. Oh, what? Are they on this? All right. Thoughtseize. I can make them use the pedal, and I can also get a Surveil. I think it's worth it. Because once they've seen our hand, our Seeker's out, I'm going to put that in the bin because I already have one, and I just want to get a critical mass of stuff. So, if they want to murk me, they can murk me. But if they are on depths, Wasteland is going to be good. But if they're on freaking Oops All spells, then it's not good. Let's see. Were they playing Fell the Profane? They were playing Fell the Profane. So this, and they were playing Thoughtseize. So this totally could be that same deck. It's not necessarily Oops All spells. And they were playing the One Ring, and they were not playing Lotus Petal though. Let's see if have they played anything else recently. This could be Besiege Storm. Does Besiege Storm play these cards? I think they may be on Besiege Storm. So now they know that they didn't learn anything because they opted not to use the pedal. Interesting. That was a 1-for-1. Okay, we got another Daze. So I think what we do is we hit that. But if we hit that, we don't have the Brainstorm up. I kind of think we just proactively Brainstorm hoping to be able to do damage. Is that right? Without this island in play, we have no interaction. I'm going to go ahead and do this and just hope to high roll us getting something in the yard. I'll put that in the yard. It feels bad to put that in the yard, but I do think it's correct because we have Merc in our hand and we can get a giant Merc one. Okay, now we're going to put this back. We're going to put this back. We're going to play the land. We can shuffle both of those lands away. This has been a great brainstorm. So we can't actually shuffle away because I already played a land. So we'll just attack for 1 and pass. So we're going to be stuck with more lands than we'd like to have, especially if we have the days here, which we may have to if they're on Besiege Storm. It'd be just another disruption spell. I mean, I'm not going to be able to get rid of... Oh, wait, I can clear both of those bad cards. They just gave me this opportunity to do it. I don't know that that's actually good, but it means I'm not going to be drawing either of these fetches because what I can do is I can... Oh, I can't upkeep Bolt because I won't have mana. That was a bad play. They can just pay for this. Yeah, I should not have done that. That was dumb. Sorry, my excellent friends. Yeah, 100% should have just made them take the days. But we did get rid of one of the lands. I mean, now it's like, do I even want to... Now I don't even necessarily need a fetch. Next turn I can just waste one of the lands and hope it is consequential, but it probably won't be. They took the Merc, so they did give me Delirium. That's kind of good in the sense that like now I don't have to wait to cast a Merc later. I've actually got a decent threat on the table right now. All right, I am going to waste... I'll waste the Urborg. Them playing Urborg tells me they probably actually are on Dark Depths, and I probably should have held that, so I'm probably dumb. Yeah, I think that I just blew that. Like I didn't notice it was an Urborg until I was wasting it. Okay, let's see what they do here. Here's Beseech. Here's the One Ring. Okay. So the good news is we are Delver and we have a Bolt in our hand and hopefully we can do enough damage to them before they get to combo off. There's the Depths. Okay. So now we feel really, really dumb. Well, that's a good draw. I will keep the Scalding Tarn. I'm going to go ahead and cast this and just hope to spike another Wasteland. Perfect. Okay. So to be clear, we can put Wasteland out and then that effectively shuts off their ability to Depths us, which is probably the main way that they win. No, I already played the Valk. So I'm not going to be able to do anything here. This Wasteland is still good, but we're probably dead. Yeah, I didn't because of the damn days. That was like such a dumb punt. Wasting them was also a bad play. Yeah, this has been a comedy of errors. My apologies, my excellent friends. I do not want this Cori-Steel cutter. We're not going to be able to power it out. We could power out a Merc. Let's take the Wasteland. That way, at least they're not going to be able to daze anything or Wasteland Thoughtseize anything meaningful out of my hand. Attack them because we have to, and we'll pass. They'll lose their protection bubble. Next turn we can Bolt and we can waste. But if they have the thing, if they have a black land, and then if they have Vampire Hexmage, they have an unkillable monster. And we're not going to win. That's fine. It's not great for us, but we do have a Merc on top. They shock it in. They have the freaking Hexmage. Can we burn them out? Let's see. They can immediately get it. We bolt them down to 5, but it doesn't matter. Like they still have 3 life. Okay. So how are we going to board against this deck? Well, Price of Progress, I don't know. They actually don't get that many lands out. I'm not sure that we make any sideboard substitutions. Force Negation, I don't like it. Meltdown isn't good. Meltdown can hit, like they sometimes play like Pithy Needle and stuff like that. Let's take a look. So this is a different list than what they were playing before because maybe they just swapped out the Chrome Mox for Petals. Maybe they're not playing, but they are playing 4 One Ring here in this list. Bloodchief's Thirst is such an interesting decision to play this card. I guess there are situations where you want to be able to... But 4 mana is a lot, but if they're playing like Dark Ritual and stuff, maybe it's not that big of a deal. If they really need to get rid of something. Shieldred's Edict, Fell the Profane. Yeah, like them killing our creature really didn't accomplish much. Maybe we could have played the... Well, they didn't know what was on top of our deck, but we actually could have won if we had double Bolt. I can't remember if I been a Bolt at some point during that. I don't think I did that game. So let's decide. I think on the play, we just keep it the same. Chain Lightning, like burn is not bad by any means. And Chain Lightning is better burn than price of progress against them because even though they don't have a lot, well, they have 3 basics. Yeah, I think we presume that we're not going to burn them out. Yeah, I'm not going to bring in force negation against a deck like that. I think I just need to be more judicious. I think we easily could have won that had I not frivolously fired off my wasteland. I'm going to keep this because this protects us early. It fills up the yard, and then it has a big Murktide finish, assuming they don't Thoughtseize us. Yeah, it's a perfectly fine hand. I wish I had a wasteland, but we don't have a sideboard for this deck. One of the reasons this deck that my opponent is playing is so strong is like most decks just don't have anything to deal with it other than wasteland, which they can needle. I'll play this out. I'm probably just going to start firing off my bolts. Like the Vampire Hexmage, they can hold it until they have the land on the table. And I just want to fill up my yard. We are an aggro deck. Yeah, it feels bad to do this, but this is the life we signed up for when we chose to play an aggro deck. Okay, now I don't feel so bad about having done that. We're like 1, 2, 3, 4. We could potentially mark as early as next turn, depending on what we draw. So now we have to face the question, do we want to... I think we just bolt. I'm not going to hold a bolt for that. There's no reason to... Like, we could draw a Brainstorm and be able to shuffle away something. I'll take a look at their hand. We'll draw a card next turn. Okay, we're a little closer to mark next turn if they give us something to interact with, but they may just spend a few turns doing Saga stuff. Okay, next turn we definitely can mark. It won't be a huge mark. It'll just be a 5/5, but it'll be bigger than their constructs. So we'll at least have the defensive covered. I say have the defensive covered. For now, we will. I don't like that card. I think this is a force because this goes and gets the thing. And now we have a 6/6 potentially. They can go get one if they draw it. They do not have the mana to activate this. They're Thoughtseizing us now, which is a serious bummer because we only have the Murktide in hand. So yeah, we're going to let that happen, and we're really screwed now. I was hoping like that if they had interaction like that, they would have used it before I forced. I don't regret forcing that thing, that map, because they probably only play 1. What? They play 4? Okay, well, yeah, they're going to get one off this anyway. So yeah, that was probably a mistake. And that's an easily researchable thing. So sorry, my excellent friends. I will continue to apologize for my punts. All right, there's no Surveil in our deck. That's a good card. Yeah, we are missing sorcery or creature. I'm just going to play it out. I think we're probably super duper dead. There's no reason to play this land. They may create a construct here if they don't have anything better to do. That would be the best case scenario. Yeah, if I hadn't forced that, they would be able to go get the Merit Lage and just the game would be over by now, probably, unfortunately. So like it's going to happen next turn anyway. In fact, it can happen this turn. Like my only out in the entire 75 is a Brazen Borrower here if they want to do that. Okay, this is the Expedition map. They haven't made their land drop yet, so they get the thing. They can tap it. They can make it. I can't do anything about it. Dark Ritual. Do they have the Mutated Cultist? Wait, they don't have. They have this mana to tap, so I'm not gonna be able to. The Brazen Borrower is still the only thing, and that is just gonna prevent one of these things. Okay, so they can cast like the One Ring for free. Okay, yeah, we're dead. Good game. We just got completely destroyed there. Okay, yeah, that's a powerful deck. I mean, you could put One Ring into pretty much anything and have like a lot of inevitability against a deck that has a bad draw. And I kept that. It was an option. I could have mulled that. I didn't feel like we were going to do a lot better than that. It's just a bad matchup fundamentally. Okay, we're up against... I mean, this is back when Namesticker Goblin was like legal. So we're up against an unknown player that tends to play aggro decks. Yeah, burn. So we have to ask, is this good enough against an aggro deck? We get the first play. We could potentially daze a threat. And I mean, I like something more aggressive than this. But this, yeah, we can brainstorm away. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to hope that they come out with like a wasteland initially. I can't burn this because I need this to shuffle away excess days. I definitely don't need 2 days here. It's worth noting that we only have 5 vegetables in our entire deck. So wasteland, if our opponent happened to draw like 4 wastelands, they could just completely waste us out of the game and we wouldn't be able to win with just an island. That's unlikely to come up. That hasn't come up this league, but it easily could come up. They mulled a 5. Okay. So this day's hand is feeling a little bit better. When your opponent is low enough on mana, Daze is like better than force. Pedal. Pedal. All right. Pedal. Okay. Dark Ritual. I think we have to let this go. That's freaking crazy. Necrodominance. Well, I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm and see if I find the force. Yeah, we didn't find the force. I guess we're likely dead, but like the crazy thing is this deck often fails. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and daze, and then that will take one of the pedals out of their hand, off the table, I guess, and then we'll just F6 and see whether they win. Because if they don't win, we're going to win. They won't be able to rebuild for, generally. They hit their fail rate surprisingly often. Okay, it's in. F6. Do your worst. So they have predictably drawn 19 cards down to 1 life. There's nothing you can do about this. Like, Bowmasters doesn't affect it because they can just win with the Bowmaster triggers on the stack. Like, this is surprisingly, resilient. So that what they're going to do is probably like shuffle half their cards away. They're just going to get all the other spirit guides out and produce all the mana. But they use this card to shuffle away. Like, it's like Winds of Change, but it's also a land. And then once they do that, they go get Born Upon a Wind, and then they can cast their sorcery speed win con at instant speed, which is usually Tendrils of Agony. The deck hasn't really fundamentally changed since nearly a year ago when Modern Horizons 3 came out. There's the Born Upon the Wind. Now they get to go crazy. Yeah, but like, I'll just give you my spiel that like, people don't want to drive to a paper event to play against decks like this. Most people don't want to play these types of decks, but you are going to see them on MTGO where, they're like, you can literally make money. You can probably make like $10 or $15 an hour if you're like a really good Oops All Spells player, just like doing leagues and then selling the tickets you win or the chests you win. Yeah. So you do run into this a little bit. It's one of those things that like, there's kind of like a gentleman's agreement that you don't play these turn 0 combo decks, but like, it's not technically illegal to play them. So they're Vault-Culting with 10 cards. We just have to hope they whiff. They've got lots of mana though. I don't think they're likely to whiff. Storm counts 17. I have a theory that like when I usually play, it's morning US time, and that's when like a lot of the work from home people like myself and stuff, like they're hanging out. That's when Bosch and Roll plays. You're much more likely to run into Thraben you or Bosch and Roll at those times of day. And then like the combo players come out at night, I guess. That's when I usually run into Tony Scarponi. That's my theory. If you want to play Control Magic, try to like play during the workday. Yeah, or we're super dead. Okay. Show me the win con. I'm not gonna make you click through them. Okay. Yeah. There's just like combo players and there's control players. It's like cats and dogs, So what can we do here? Well, I think these force negations come in. That's unfortunately really all we have that matters. I usually play 4. I went down to 3. Everybody else is playing 2. One of the decks here, I'll show you real quick, that I did seek a lot of inspiration. I looked at a lot of lists, but this list really resonated with me. And it's basically almost exactly what I'm playing, but instead of Unholy Heat, I opted to play Chain Lightning just because I'm like, I'm going to be against a bunch of combo players. Unholy Heat doesn't do anything against a combo player, but Chain Lightning bolts their face and might help it close a game. So yeah, that is my little edit. Like, but they're doing all the freaking baubles. They're doing like pretty much the same graveyard. Oh, the guy, person, Duke 12, is the list creator. But like, I independently brewed something that was almost exactly like this, except I was playing the Storm Chasers talent, and then I saw that they're just going all out on baubles, and that kind of made sense. Okay, so we just need to make some cuts. Chain Lightning is unlikely to matter. It's just too slow. Like, almost everything is unlikely to matter. Baubles are fine because we can draw through them and get to more of our cards. I think Cori-Steel Cutter is actually the worst card, just because like, if we even get a turn, we've already probably won. I don't know. Maybe this closes faster. You know what? I'm going to bring these in. They do have a few cards that we can target. Cut these. And I'm going to cut some bolts. Wait, I don't have to cut this bolt. Okay, I don't have to cut this bolt either. So we bring one Cori back in. And whenever I say Cori, I always think of Corey Feldman, the musician. He's a musician now, if you want to put musician in air quotes, but he's out there trying. Okay. He used to be a child actor. Now he's a musician. He's got his all, Victoria's Secret band. I mean, this is a force hand. I don't think we mull deeper than this. I think there's a very high likelihood that this gets stripped and we just lose. If they have a slow start, this handles it. There's no like KO card. We could just get into a situation where they have lots of turns to build up resources. I think we mulligan this. This is a worse hand, unfortunately. We'll see whether our opponent mulligans. Kept 7. That could be that they've signed up for a slower game. I mean, I can't in good conscience keep this. Like the days doesn't do enough. Ponder, Wasteland slows them down by 1 turn cycle. They may not even have a land. Murktide is a very slow win con. I'm going to take one more spin. And I'm glad I did. This is not a great hand. Has the same problem structurally as the other ones, but we're going to keep it. I'm going to put one of the DRCs back, and I'm going to put the Hydroblast back, I think. Yeah, because I can still bobble to potentially draw a card. Get a card out of there. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Chancellor of the Annex. Okay, this is actually fine because we're on the play. Check this out. I will pay that Chancellor in the Annex tax. I don't think you keep Chancellor in the Annex in against, like when you're on the draw. I feel like that's a mistake. So we know Chancellor of the Annex is in their hand. What else is in their hand? Necrodominance. Okay, that's probably not information that we were not previously privy to. I mean, like you have to keep the Necrodominance hand or the Beseech hand. Oh, wow. So we could potentially stop 2 things. But if they just have a Thoughtseize, we are resilient to a single Thoughtseize, but they'll just wait and they'll go for it later once they have another Thoughtseize. Yeah, it's super unfortunate. Okay, they have Petal, tapped land. Okay, so we can waste this tapped land. I think that's probably the right call here. Just restrict their options. The red is not the important color, but any mana they have is mana they can use. Now we have double force negation. We just have to hope they get greedy and go for it, even though we're not applying any pressure. They should not go for it. They should just wait and take as many turns as they want. Amass resources. We will eventually draw land. We have 18. Okay, we're drawing blue cards at least. They're going to know that we wouldn't have kept this hand for no reason. The good news is we're going to have Delirium pretty soon. So when our DRC hits the ground, she's going to hit the ground flying. Okay, now they have a lot of mana. Please just go for it. Black. Okay, you have the Necrodominance. You have to have 2 layers of protection if you go for it. I will pitch everything except for... I'll probably keep it Daze rather than a Brainstorm. Because if they do go for it, they're going to have 2 mana, and it's possible that they won't have... that Daze will be material. I'm not counting on Brainstorm to fix anything. They're using the mana. I mean, they could just let it burn off. You don't have to use it, but I can imagine they're tempted to use it. If they just have Thoughtseize, then they subject themselves to 0. Why do they tap it for black? What are they doing over here? Packed it. Pact resolves. Now it doesn't matter what I keep. The game's over, whether they win or not. We got it. All right. Now we have to win one on the draw. Oh my goodness. So it was definitely smart for me to bring in the Hydroblast, because if those had been red cards, that would have been embarrassing to lose. Yeah, and that's precisely what I meant by, like, basically none of your win cons matter. They'll kill themselves. You just have to, like, it could matter. I mean, you could argue Pyroblast for Pact is probably better than Cori-Steel Cutter. Yeah. I'm willing to live in that world where Pyroblast actually does something here, even though the only blue cards in their deck are probably Pyroblast. Like, just swap some red cards for red cards. Because how we beat them is immaterial. Once we have like a DRC hitting them, they have like literally no defenses. They are all in. Arguably even more all in. Oh, this is a good hand. Yeah. We have to hope we get a turn. We can't beat a hand that has a pact in it. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to let them know that I have like a strong hand. I'm going to sit here and look at it for a minute, and maybe that'll embolden them. Okay, they hit Serum Powder, so they exiled that and they get a new hand. Let's take a look at what they exiled. Pretty typical stuff. A Beseech, a bunch of Spirit Guides. These Spirit Guides are very important for them winning. So here, this is what I mean. I'm going to think for like a full 30 or 40 seconds. All right, if they reveal the Chancellor, we're dead. They don't. Summoner's Pact. So they're dead next turn. Just getting mana. You never counter the packs. You always let those packs happen just in case. Yeah, I don't know why they would go all in. It's possible that yeah, I mean, they don't have a force now. They sack for black. They dark ret. I actually think forcing this is fine because it forces them to have an additional way to go off. They're dead to their pact. If they were going to use discard as a way, now they have to have literally pact of negation to win. They do have it. Okay. Well, that sucks. We are not doing anything here. There's the Necrodominance. Okay, and we get to F6. I think we did everything we're supposed to do. I think you keep a hand that has a force and a bunch of other cards because they could go long. They could not go for it, and then you need to actually have some sort of game plan, some stuff you're doing. So they've exiled a lot. They've used a lot of their spirit guys. We just have to hope they whiff. There's 3 mana. They filter it. And I think the Dark Ritual is important just in case they had discard. Like if we hit the Dark Ritual with the pact already out there, I know it's probably not going to matter. We're probably going to die, but I do think it was an important insight. Like I used to never even consider forcing Dark Rituals. I was like, I'll just force what comes off of it. But like in that situation, I think it was 100% correct to force there. So we don't know what Duke 12 faced here because they were probably facing like fair decks and not going up against 4 combo decks in a row and then like 1 depth deck, which is basically a combo deck as well. Yeah, did we face any fair decks? I don't think we did. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, we faced Eldrazi. That was one of our few wins. I mean, historically, Delver was supposed to be really favored against combo. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, they're on Delver. They're going to shred my combo deck. Like, my Doomsday doesn't have a prayer. But, like, you know, when you're just winning immediately, it doesn't really matter if you have, like, all this pressure and stuff. Like, you can have, like, incredible win cons, and your opponent's just never going to see them. They don't even care what we're playing. They've never even looked at our hand. Like, why do you play Magic like this? It just seems like so, yeah, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of like a real life equivalent. I mean, you could probably get away with like parking in handicap spots or, no, I don't want to equate like playing combo to anything like that's morally reprehensible, but it's like having like a really silly looking mustache and just being like, yeah, looking mustaches when you could have a big manly bushy beard. I don't know. I'm just sitting here filling time while I'm just having zero agency in this game. Hey, guess what? We freaking won. Okay. I don't know what happened, but I'll take it. All right. So that is a 3-2. Very anticlimactic. Again, no offense if you're like one of those weirdos that has a freaking mustache. You may not actually have the facial hair. I've talked to people like Bosch and Roll has like kind of like this weird, facial hair thing. He just says it like the cheeks don't grow out and stuff. So, I don't want to like, my facially follically challenged brethren. I don't want to make fun of that. But I will say that like mustaches usually look ridiculous. Even Freddie Mercury, like the most manly man, looks ridiculous with a freaking mustache, in my opinion. That's why Dr. Disrespect had like the ridiculous mustache. It was to lampoon the absurdity of having a lip caterpillar. So if you're having trouble with the opposite sex in your man, and that mustache might be a part of it. So I'm saying, okay, I did not mean to slight anyone. It's late at night. I had a really fun time. You know what? When I'm having a fun time, I feel like just queuing back in and doing this again. These are fast matches. Let's go. I'm just going to run the exact 75. Like, I don't feel like we got a fair representation of the meta. Maybe we just queue into like a bunch more combo decks, but let's double league it. Double league. Let's go. Wait. Oh, I don't have event tickets. I don't actually know how this works. Like what I got, like if I got chests or anything, because like I already have every card. I know it's weird. It's like I've got the God mode thing turned on. I'm new to this. All I know is like a lot of my opponents are like, why are your cards all foily? I don't know whether they're foily or not because I got the foil animation turned off, but they look kind of foily. You can see kind of like a little streak in there. Let's see. Did I get anything from winning that? I have 0 of everything. Okay. I have no idea. This is what a creator account looks like apparently. Tons of random tokens and stuff. Look at all this stuff that I have. Yeah, it's cool though. Like I appreciate them giving it to me. It's just like, it took me forever to like go and select the old art because I have access to every single art, Just this world's smallest violin playing for Be Excellent as he configures his deck to try to make it look all fancy. All right, round 1 of League 2. We have no idea what our opponent's on. This hand doesn't disrupt at all beyond this wasteland. I'm not sure whether we're supposed to keep hands like this. We don't have a surveillance to find us a land. If we get wasted, we're just dead. I really like hands that have a turn 1 DRC. Or at least a bobble to go with the Cori-Steel cutter. Against an unknown opponent, I am going to mulligan this. This is a much better hand. So much better. I'm not even kidding. Like, okay, so let's keep. I know I just said, well, I mean, we could be against a deck that Wasteland doesn't matter against. It's certainly tempting if we're going to get the DRC out to just go to town with her. People rarely waste when you have an active DRC. I think it's almost always incorrect to wasteland an opponent who has DRC that's like getting close to delirium and stuff. Yeah, this is just like the dream right here, the DRC dream. That goes in the graveyard. We've got sorcery. We've got artifact, our land. We're like, we cast, Elvish Reclaimer. Okay, this is not good for us, but it's not necessarily bad because we have that wasteland. Elvish Reclaimer is lightning bolt proof once it gets a little farther into the game. So we'll draw for bobble. Cori-Steel cutter, nice. I mean, it's probably not going to impact immediately once. I could have dazed that once. I actually probably should have dazed that once. I think I just made a mistake. But if they play the Reclaimer, then I'll daze that for sure. I don't like that card. I'm not going to daze this. Actually, maybe I do daze this and I just waste because I am hitting for 3. I don't want to waste when I have Cori-Steel cutter. I'm gonna daze. I don't know that it's getting a lot better. That bobble goes in the we'll keep that because we can use that to trigger Cori-Steel cutter when we play it. And now we're gonna have delirium, so we'll be hitting for 3. Yeah, this mulligan worked out perfectly. Delver on the play is a pretty brutal thing. And I'll look kind of like a fool, but like this daze wasn't gonna do anything. They have a Reclaimer in hand and they were gonna cast it. They have a white as well, and that's also scary, but I think they're probably gonna lead with Reclaimer now that we've dazed them. Especially because I'm just going to play this. If they're on Cradle Control, they don't actually play Wasteland main deck. I'll keep the Brainstorm up. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have played out the Wasteland, but like I like scaring them. I could have days, you know? All right, I'll let that one resolve. Oh, they don't have a second land. I can just waste them here. But I do want to get Corey going first. Corey Feldman or Corey Haim, either of them. All right, check this out. This is going to be fun. This is the dream. We're living it right here. In round 1, I don't actually need another land. Yeah, I'm going to put it in my graveyard. I'm going to live dangerously here against this no wasteland deck. Check this out. Boom, diggity. Yeah, so that trigger happens. Okay, so we get to, we could basically guarantee that we have another Corey activation next turn. I kind of want to keep this just so we can go completely crazy with Corey. I think this is fine. I'm just going to keep it. And the next turn I can Brainstorm and I can Corey. And I don't need to get the other trigger here. I've already got this one. I'm just going to draw. Let's take another look at their hand. Elvish Reclaimer. Okay, probably the same one we saw. Attack with all creatures. This is just a 2/2. That's fine. But again, it's more important for me to go wide with lots of prowess creatures every turn. And next turn I can totally do that. What I can do next turn is I can waste them. And I can also get this going. So this is like the ultra temp. Okay, so now they can play their dude. Oh, they're playing that dude. That's fine. Keep in mind, this does have trample. There's a daze. So is it just your turn? Flurry, whatever, second spell. Each turn. Okay, so in theory, we could get another token during their turn. That's freaking crazy because we could like Brainstorm and daze. I think it's worth it. I'm going to go ahead and hit this. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's surveil something good into our graveyard here. I'll stop if I find a Merc. I mean, Borrower, it's kind of greedy to put that in the graveyard. But I'm looking for stuff I can cast, like bolts would be good. And do this. Sylvan Safekeeper. I've never been less scared by that. They have 0 lands. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Cast. What sequence these happen in? I guess I could like always yield, but I'm not going to run out of time here. This is a keep just because this like represents like the serious damage. So now we get another one. I will equip that one. And now we can come in and we can see whether they want to start jumping. use this. I'll get, we saw Self-Save Creeper again. Okay, let's go to combat. See, and this doesn't have trample if they want to block this, but like we're dealing a lot of damage here. And I want to remind you that next turn, they're going to give us something to daze, and we can daze and brainstorm, and we can get even more damage. Holy cow, they're at 4. This is insane. This card is freaking cracked. It's like turn 3. They're turn 3, maybe? They're turn 4, and they're almost dead to a conventional Delver deck that's been able to interact with them meaningfully. It's not like we're playing like Eldrazi. Like, we're actually interacting with them and stuff. Yeah, that's what I thought. Damn. All right, so against this deck, I don't think Price of Progress is right. Actually, none of these cards seem particularly good. Grafdigger's Cage is fine. It's not a 4. It's not a 3 of. I think we could bring in like 1 for Green Steel. Maybe we bring in 2 because they have stuff that searches their. I think I'm just bringing in 1. Yeah, like it's just not the angle we want to fight on. Daze is pretty bad against their deck, especially on the draw. I think we cut 1. Yeah, I'm not going to cut the other Dazes though. I think it is. We still squeeze them. All right. This hand, we interact. Mark. I think I'm not going to throw this back. I think the number of cards is going to matter in this matchup. It's not like a combo matchup where you just have to find a cool card like a Grafdigger's Cage. Like we actually do need to out card them a little bit. So this Chain Lightning can go with that and hopefully disrupt them a little bit. I am going to go ahead and do this and just see what top card is. Maybe see what my top card is. Well, no, I don't have a choice if I want to Chain Lightning that, and I think I do. Like, one of the problems with our damage-based removal, yeah. So we definitely need to kill that instead. But at the same time, I kind of want to be mana efficient and bolt this. But then that goes and gets like the freaking Cradle. I don't know. I think it's fine to bolt this, and maybe we find some more removal for that. I don't know. I have 6 removal spells in my deck. Like almost all my tempo decks play exactly 6 removal spells. My blue-black tempo, Bug Beanstalk, which is not really a tempo deck, also plays, 6 removal spells. I feel like that's the sweet spot, but you could easily go up to 8. Okay, we drew a Brainstorm. It's not the worst. We might be able to find. The important thing we're doing is we're filling up our yard for a Merc, and they actually probably don't have any removal in their entire deck. Like they completely disrespect fair matchups. Okay, so now we do need to Brainstorm into a Bolt. So we can kill this, otherwise we're going to have a lot of problems. We get DRC and Brainstorm. Is that good enough? That will fill the yard for a Merc, but that gives them a turn where they can go just crazy. They can go get Bojuka Bog. Let's see. So what I like to do when I don't know what I'm up against is I go find the Cradle Control here, and I try to look at the composite and see what proportion are playing Bojuka Bog, and it's like 100%. Like if we DRC here, it's like nearly 100% they just freaking Bojuka Bog it, and we get 0 value because we have to persistently have it out. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm with this, and I'm going to hope to hit a fetch so we can shuffle away some of these bad cards. Well, that's not bad. We can Ponder, and if they don't Bojuka Bog us, then we can Merc next turn. I don't expect them to even go after our island. But we actually need the island to shuffle some of this stuff away. I think Daze goes. This is prime. I don't really want to use this Wasteland either. I don't think we're tempoing them at all. I think we're trying to aggro them now or Merc them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Ponder. Next turn I have Cori-Steel. We'll shuffle this. Okay. I think probably just playing Merc is the correct thing to do next turn. And then the subsequent turn, Cori-Steel. Because Cori-Steel just runs right into Reclaimer, which is a 3/4 now. Okay, this is dangerous. They probably have a land drop on top of this. They can go, yeah, they can make this like a 5/5 or something. Maybe a 6/6. I mean, it grows so fast. I don't think our Merc can outclass this. We can just put a creature in front of it every turn with the Cori-Steel cutter, but it's yeah. See, this is they can activate this, and they have 2 mana. They can activate this, and they can pump it even further. They're hitting us for 3 here. Oh, they're not, yes, because they're planning to pump this further and just alpha strike us. I think the odds of us not getting Bojuka Bogged here are extremely low. I can't imagine them taking it out board. So playing these DRCs, they're just like the world's most pathetic DRCs, basically. I do think we need to go ahead and Merc here, Annual DRC. And then they're going to Bojuka Bog us. Wait, they can't Bajuka Bog us because I already have Bajuka Bog myself. 1, 2, 3, 5. We're very far away from getting Delirium, but I will play her out just because, yeah, they can just go get a fetch and they can make this bigger. And then next turn, I can Cori-Steel and DRC and get a bunch of triggers and refill my graveyard. And it, like, the dream is that we get another Merc that's even bigger because we have double Merc, double Dragon, get some fetch. Then I think it's like, if it's the second turn, double the number. So this goes up to 6, or 3 counters, and then it goes up 6 counters. Oh, they're just doing that. That's good for us, actually, that they decided to get that Cradle, because they could have doubled the counters on it. They can still do that next turn, though. They may try to do it as a combat trick, thinking I'm too dumb to like realize, but maybe they'll give me enough respect and just do a pre-combat. I mean, like, it's not about thinking your opponent's dumb. It's just thinking about like whether they're attentive. They could have like a baby crying on their shoulder or something like that. They could have had a really long day. Natural order, we're dead. This gets Atraxa. Let's see a little more of their sideboard strategy here before we concede. Force of Vigor, Thoughtseize. They have Thoughtseize in their deck. Keeper. They didn't take that out. I think I'm going to bring in more Grafdigger's Cages. If they're like, Grafdigger's Cage does shut off natural order, there's a good chance they can't kill it. They may have like a Boseiju in their deck, but you can't search for a Boseiju. I mean, you can search for it, but you don't get the effect. Right, so yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out the Dazes completely. I'm not going to take out the Wastes, but I feel like with the sheer volume of mana that works and Gaia's Cradle and stuff, Daze just loses a lot of its benefit. It's worth noting that like we would have been able to ping them for like maybe 6 there. Well, I think they had a Forest and a Bayou. Yeah, I think I'll just run it like this with the 3 Grafdigger's Cages. All right, let's see if we can get a turbo hand. Of course, it's not going to be a true turbo hand without Daze, but being able to mid-range them is good. This is a great hand. This deals with a lot of the dorks while getting the DRC supremacy. We can fill our graveyard very quickly. Like, a huge part of beating these types of decks is just removing their creatures so they don't have a critical mass of creatures. And if they don't have a critical mass of creatures, then use Gaia's Cradle to the fullest. Okay, they have the Sith Cat Cub, but it is nice that they don't play Wasteland because it just, like, I don't have to worry about that dimension. They can still Boseiju, like yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and just bobble here first, and this is the less good bobble. Need that. I'm going to put that in yard. Like, our hand's fine. See their hand. So they put Sith Cat Cub, and they have white. So they're pretty gassed up over there. I'm worried that if I fire this off, then they just have too much information. Or like they may just go ahead and Bajuka Bog somehow. I don't think they play crop rotation. I could draw. No, I won't be able to draw both. Well, I could draw the a land and a Cori, and then I'd feel kind of dumb because I burned my way to get a token. Next turn, we do have Delirium for sure with these Chain Lightnings. Let's see, what could I draw that would be good here? I think I'm going to go ahead and just draw through. I think that's the strategy. I don't think... Yeah, I'll just fill up my yard, and that'll be like cheap Merc food, and then the second Merc will be the really big one, Dryad Arbor on top. Okay. So we can actually bolt that too. We can just go after all their boltable creatures. Let's see if we draw a land here. We draw a Wasteland. Draw a Brainstorm. Okay. Thoughtseize. Have a Gander. Do damage against... Like, I cannot imagine that Thoughtseize belongs in the deck when you're up against Delver. Okay, they took the Brainstorm. I'm going to slow them down. I'm going to use the Worst Bolt. This does turn on Delirium. They've already done the first 2 damage to themselves for me. I don't want this card. All right. We're going to Delver them. All right, Fetch Land. That's another damage that we're going to potentially do to them. I'll play this out. I'm going to go to combat. I can hold up both Borrower and Lightning Bolt, and I can use Chain Lightning during my turn cycle to kill them. This was just a sick opening. Like, sheer direct damage, brutality. Taking themselves to 7 here. 1 more damage and they're dead, even, if they stabilize. It just doesn't matter. I don't know if they have like some way of gaining life. I think it's, yeah, we have them deterministically dead, so I actually think this is fine to keep. So now we have like every possible thing they could do covered, I think. Endurance, but I can force that. It almost feels bad to just destroy somebody like so brutally. It's not in my nature. Totally savaged. That was our turn 4. Yeah, I think that's the fastest I've ever killed somebody in a game of Magic the Gathering. Like, other than, you know, my dabbling in combo. I used to play like Spanish Inquisition and stuff, you know, random jank like that. But that is definitely the fastest Delver game I've ever played, I think. I mean, it's just literally perfect, you know, first attack, DRC was already powered up, and then we bolted their face 3 times, and then they Thoughtseized and they fetched twice. I mean, it was just, yeah, it's definitely a crime scene. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent with a Force of Will hand. We don't know exactly what we have in our hand because these bowels are like kind of mystery cards. We'll see what they get replaced with, but we do have mana. We have a Ponder, tie the room together. We could get a pretty quick Merc, right? Paddle comes in. So far, this could be like, I'm going to see if I get some information about the deck before I decide what to do. Force. Arid Mesa, Lotus Petal, Force in the same deck. That's pretty strange. I'm going to look at our top card and see whether I want to fetch it away. Does that make any sense? Because I could just Ponder. I think I want to keep this Merc. I think there's a decent chance if they're in a Petal deck, they don't have a lot of interaction. Because generally, like if you want to go fast, you have to sacrifice interaction. I could just crack it during their turn. I am going to play it out. So we'll see what we draw here. Oh wait, we can manipulate what we draw too. I'm just going to be cool with whatever we draw. I mean, like pretty much all our deck is the same. It's just like answers and win cons. So we get our card. Another Wasteland. I hope that they... Okay, there's the basic. That sucks. I am going to go ahead and just draw through this. I'll go ahead and get a little more information about the deck. Brainstorm. Okay, so they have Force. They have Brainstorm. Pretty good cards to have. We don't have a Surveil trigger. I'm just going to wait and see what we draw. We have lots of cards we can brainstorm away here. Our opponent will allow it. Could be playing like Hull Breacher or something insane like that. Let's think about this. So, 1, 2... We're not quite able to play a Murktide this turn. It would be Baby. I think what I do is I just chill, and I can attempt to brainstorm next turn. I actually should have played out this Delta instead, because I almost certainly want to just put this back. They fetch a basic. Okay, so these Wastelands are terrible. Okay, so we know that they have Force. I think we're just... The correct action might be to Force first. See if they have the Force back. We could just like brainstorm into double days. How good would that be? That's unlikely. I think I'm gonna go ahead and... Well, they could have Spell Pierce, and it'd be embarrassing if they were able to just Spell Pierce this. I'm going to go ahead and Force. And now that we know what we're against, I'm just going to pitch Murktide. Because I think, frankly, like, you know, we're going to need something more powerful than that. So that is going to resolve. Now I'll attempt to do this. We have 2 cards left in their hand. We don't find anything. I think we're just dead. It could be that they don't have a win con in there, but like... What are the odds? We have no way to disrupt this. We'll just wait till they draw a win con. I don't think that there's much merit in keeping Wasteland around. They've already got this thing that generates infinite value. Yeah, I'll just put these back and we'll shuffle those away. Yeah, but we're super dead. Emrakul's probably coming in this turn. Traxa. Yeah, let's see some other deck and then we'll concede. Okay, so they had Thundering Falls, Walk... Pretty typical stuff. Show and Tell attracts the stock up. Okay, yeah. The very, very standard deck. I don't know. I was like off put by the Arid Mesa. I was like, why would they play that? It doesn't make any sense. But I guess they're just like a very basic heavy version. Okay, the good news is we have both Pyro and Hydroblast, which is pretty sweet. And we have our Force Negations. So I'll bring those in. Killing them quickly is nice with Cori-Steel Cutter. However, yeah, these bolts don't do anything. I'm just taking them out. So they make it easy by being creatureless, air quotes creatureless. Cori is red. You can cut that. We just want to max like the blue cards in the deck. Yeah, Merc is probably the way we win. They do have Pyroblast. DRC can just totally win by itself, though. I think between DRC, Merc, and 2 Coris, we've got plenty of win con. Let's jam. Keepable hand. This hand has the Steel Cutter combo. On turn 2, it has a Daze as Soul Disruption. Well, it's got Pyro. I'm going to keep this. What do we put back? We do want Steel Cutter just to get... So I'll just play this out. I'm trying to think if there might be a situation where... Yeah, I'll just play this out. They don't know that I have... I think they saw a Volk, right? Like, I can't remember everything they saw, but they probably can presume I'm a Delver. Let's go ahead and draw this card. Wasteland, not the best card here. I'm going to go ahead and just play this out. We're kind of like putting our shields down for a turn, but we're getting, a win con on the table. They could have Blood Moon. It was probably actually greedy for me to fetch like that. I probably should have, if they have Blood Moon, normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but it is a big deal here. Now that that has happened, I might as well just bobble through this. Just get further in my deck. They have Emrakul on top, so we can be confident that Show and Tell is death. Draw for turn. Yeah, this is a pretty bad matchup in my opinion. Like, we do have a lot of good sideboard cards, but I think we probably do this for momentum. We don't have a lot else going on. They have a Simian Spirit Guide. Okay. Yeah, so we basically stopped their 3-mana spell with our 0-mana spell. That's pretty not bad. Okay, so I'm going to waste here, and we're just going to pass, and I'm going to wait another turn before I Brainstorm so I can potentially fetch. We have both Daze and Pyroblast and Brainstorm for Desperation. Maybe just chill. Delta is great. I can instant speed the Brainstorm. I'm not going to try to desperately dig for a DRC. That is like the best thing we can find here. Merc would be fine. I'll just do this during their turn. That way, worst case scenario, if I need to, I can defend myself. They're letting us have this. We can put back 2 lands. Keep stop, so I'll just do this. And I will get an island here, just out of respect for, potential Blood Moon. I don't think there's that being in, but it would be annoying. It would be really silly if I... All right, so if they have exactly Show and Tell or Sneak Attack, we're kind of screwed. We can double Daze. I will Pyro that. I just told them I had Pyro. I'm going to Daze this. Daze doesn't necessarily get better. Pyro stays good. I shouldn't have tapped red like that, though. That was a misplay. Should have floated blue. All right, DRC set up. Because of my decision to grab the island there, we now only have 1 Pyroblast up. That could be consequential. 3 cards in the hand. 1 is Emrakul. I'm going to Pyro this rather than Daze it because they already think I have a Pyro. Actually, I'm going to just Daze. Yeah, I'm going to Daze. Like, Daze may not work later. I could be totally naive in doing that, but we do have Hydroblast in our deck too. This is a good card. It doesn't get us closer to Delirium, which it could. You could put that land back. Yeah, I'm going to keep it because I do want to get stopped a lot of stock-ups. There are 3 cards. I think I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm here. Get Delver Delirious. We don't deserve a fetch, but maybe a pawn. Bobble does it. I want to draw this, so I'll draw this next turn, and then I'll put this on top. Then we're going to bobble that away, graveyard, and we're going to try to win with this Delver. Okay, they have Brainstorm on top. Wait, it's still not Delirious? I thought that was enough. Okay, I should have put the freaking Merc on top, but I didn't want to not have my force up, so we'll just wait for a few. Yeah, it sucks. Like, I'm not applying any real pressure. It might make sense to just go ahead and Merc. I think I'm going to Pyro this. I don't have anything else really going on here. I don't want them to get any selection. So we can bin whatever our top card is. Worth playing. I mean, we could, yeah. I don't like trying to win with Merc when it's our sole blue card. I just want to dig further. We've put like a boatload of lands in our graveyard. All right. Well, we drew a land anyway. I guess now we could Merc. I mean, they're not going anywhere. We still have Pyro up, but we clearly will not have any other action. Take a look at our graveyard. Let's pop it out. This stretches it to where you can see the graveyard better. Yeah, that's how Max Sorcery does it. Okay, so we're just missing sorcery or creature. If we Merc and they counter it for some reason, we do have... Do we actually have fetchables left in our... We've got 1, 2... We have 1 fetchable land left in our deck. I think I'll just play it out, yeah. I want to get on the board. Merc will end it very quickly. We clearly have it's 2 swings basically with Merc, and it could be they're stalled out enough. I'll be really embarrassed if they just win next turn because we went for this. But I think the best defense is a solid offense here. We still have an instant in the yard. That is fine, and I should have freaking let the Delirium happen. Yeah, if I force this or blast it, I go shields down. They only have Emrakul in hand. Can they string together a win? They could just top deck Show and Tell if I blast this. I'm going to let that happen, and I'm just going to beat him down slowly. I know it's cowardly, but like that's how I roll. I am going to hit this, and I'm going to hope that I can flip a blue card, because I know that their only card in hand is Emrakul. They haven't had a chance to put it back. That goes in the yard. All right, show me the blue card. I want the blue card for my draw step. If I get the blue card, I'll feel pretty confident. We have no fetchables in our deck. We're completely shields down. There's no way I can get a Hardcast Force. Hardcast Force just doesn't happen in this deck. Okay, we got lucky. Can we get a blue card? Our deck is largely blue. Now they're going to need a Mana Source in addition. I can hear my cat going crazy, just knocking stuff over in my kids' craft room. Just knocking over papers, pencils, everything's just rattling all around. Okay, they had that. Don't have the freaking thing. Okay, good. Just 2 more swings. What the hell? Come on, deck. I mean, this does give us a chance to draw into blue. Let's go in the graveyard. I know I have a lower blue count in this list than the actual Delverless list does, but come on, deck. Okay, they're drawing blank. Unless their card in hand is a show and tell. 2 more turns like this, and we're going to win. All right, I think we're fine. That was, but yeah, I feel like we're in the clear now. Because they have to have Disruption plus Enabler that wins in 1 turn. Like Atraxa would obviously win, but they would, like Show and Tell wouldn't do it, is what I'm saying. Or a Sneak Attack wouldn't do it. They'd have to Show and Tell, and they'd have to have a Blast. And that's kind of like how you have to win, in my opinion. Like, yeah, they're like in other colors, you have hate pieces like Containment Priest, maybe Oblivion Ring type effects and things like that. But I just like to overpower people with blasts. Well, it was just like the frustrating slowness of the deck there. We caught the flip side of variance after like getting a game where we like just essentially just completely slaughtered somebody. Like doing the slow cuts, like hitting them for 3 turns in a row. Yeah, the Ponder was not forthcoming. That is one of the reasons why I put Chain Lightning in the deck, is I just wanted to make sure we had some more sorceries, because I've just experienced so many times where I've been like struggling like halfway into my deck and I can't get Delirium. I mean, this is what they call a snap keep, but I'm not going to let them know it's a snap keep. They've mulled to 6. All right, I've waited for about 30 seconds. I'm going to keep. This doesn't have any offensive capabilities, but it's got defense out the wazoo, which I love. All right, go ahead and glass cannon me, baby. All right. They went and fetched for no reason. I guess they do have Surveil in their deck. They showed it earlier. Correct play is to go ahead and ponder here. By pondering, we give up our second force effect. I wanted to get Cori going, but we don't have to get Cori going immediately. We can just be more deliberate, because Cori can happen like if we force a bunch of stuff, then we get the creature. I don't know. Ponder, we just take a blue card, put it in hand, and we're fine, assuming we have a blue card. Let's try for that. Let's dare to dream. This does take us off one of our forms of interaction, but I value proactivity in these matchups. This is just about as insane as you can get, really. Like, we may not need this. We probably don't need this Pyro. Like, the Hydro covers angles that the Hydro doesn't. Probably put the Pyro down the Hydro because it's blue. And the next turn, we do have the land plus Cori. And they may have Hydroblast in their deck. They may have Pyroblast too. I mean, they're like the same colors as we are. So they may be able to take our Cori-Steel, but we'll already have priority and we'll already have the token. So that is a clock, even if it doesn't do a lot on its own. I love this deck. This is really, this card is insane. We're going to go for it. We still have 3 points of interaction up if all hell breaks loose here. The question is, like, I would definitely daze, but I wouldn't necessarily force to keep this in. They force. How wily are we feeling? I mean, daze is practically a force at this point. They pitch an Atraxa. Like, I feel like they're on the ropes. I could be completely misunderstanding the situation. They're 2 mana, at least 2 mana away from getting a, and now we get our creature, and we're going to be able to, oh, damn. We screwed up. We needed to do that next turn because of the force. Oh, I feel so dumb. Sorry, my excellent friends. Well, I am going to go ahead and just cash this in. There's no point in hanging on to it. Let's see what it's in their hand. Yeah, like if I thought about that for a second, I would have been like, okay, sure, you can force that. And just moved on to my next win con later on in the deck. They have a force in their hand. Yeah, if they knew what they were doing, they did it very well. I'll be charitable and I'll assume that they knew what they were doing. We do have a Merc, so we did draw our second win con. Well, we wasted a force on a permanent that probably isn't going to do anything. Now we have double force up. I think I'm going to go into the breach here, and I'm going to Merc. And if they force this, I'm going to accept that. Actually, if I force back, we get a token, or maybe a daze. This is a 5/5. Oh my goodness. You're really making me tempt with that force, because that means that like daze is pretty live, and we get a freaking Cori-Steel, and we can attack them pretty quickly. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Don't tell my mother that I am such a reckless man. We get the damage immediately. This comes in, it's pretty big. I mean, I don't know about this play at all, but they have to have mana plus A plus B, and we do have daze, and next turn we have pyro. They would have to have an exceptional turn. Like show and tell right now, and something to put in. Well, I'm going to daze that. And now, that was a 3-for-1, essentially. They're like so dead to our creatures. Yeah, that felt awesome. Man, this deck is great. All right, I mean, and these are not like blowouts. I mean, like that one game was a blowout against a Cradle Control, but like, I want to be clear that this is not like OP deck. It's definitely got its weaknesses, but I think that this feels a lot better than standard Delver in terms of just, Delver itself is so sclerotic. It doesn't do a lot, and this does do stuff. This does a lot of stuff. It's like a game piece that sticks around. They take care of their creature, and you're like, okay, cool. Later, next time I cast 2 spells, I'll just get another monk dude, and I'll start beating you down again. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent. They play Crashing Footfalls back in when that was legal in Modern. That's about all I know about them. Wait, is that still legal? That was just from a few days ago. I mean, they could be doing something like that in Legacy. It would be a lot stronger than it is in Modern. We do have the Cori combo. We could potentially Cori several turns in a row. Is that good enough? We have Brainstorm if we get in like a dire situation. We can play out this fetch, and then it's not wastable. I think what I want to do is I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to start by just peeking at their hand. I mean, showing them Urza's Bauble gives them a lot of information to actually play, though, because like Mishra's Bauble is like way more common. But actually, Urza's Bauble may throw them off the Delver scent. They may not realize I'm on a Delver deck. They're mulliganing. That's not good. I used to be happy when my opponents mulligan. I'd be like, yes, great. Please continue to mulligan. But now I'm like, oh no. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to bobble them. Elvish Spirit Guide. Okay, they're doing something degenerate. That's not good for us. So I'm going to go ahead and... if they're on an Elvish Spirit Guide strategy, I doubt they're on a Wasteland strategy. I'm going to start with this just because I might want to shuffle away some of these cards. So we draw. I could have probably bobbled again just to increase the number of cards in my hand and give it up on Steel Cutter. Yeah, I think that was probably correct. Just to maximize looks for force. Because now I have to hit force and blue card off of Brainstorm, which is unlikely. My deck only plays like 20. Because going off Delver, you like cut down the number of forces by like 4 or 5. Pretty significant. All right, we draw a Wasteland. That's not a good card for this matchup, most likely. Gemstone Mine, going old school here. Do I want to be a mana efficient, just bolt them in the face? I think so. What Gemstone Mine deck cares about, a lightning bolt? All right. So now we have an option. I think the correct thing to do is just get on the board here. We have days. It probably isn't going to work. It's probably not going to stop them. They are F6, so that tells me they're likely not a combo build. Let's go ahead and peek at their top. Born Upon a Wind. Okay, so they're just on freaking Necrodominance again. Damn it. I don't like playing against this deck. Well, they have a Spirit Guide in their hand. I think it's extremely unlikely that we get the win here. But I can, if they wait an extra turn, I can waste them. There's the Vault. Okay, they are giving us an extra turn. This is very good. All right. So options. We could play the second Steel Cutter. It doesn't really... well, yeah, we could play it out, and then we could Brainstorm, and we could just hope to turbo them. That still leaves up days. That gives up on the Steel Cutter. That means we can't get a perfect Brainstorm. I think we just put the Steel Cutter away. I think that like doubling our clock is not worth it. It's not good enough. Prowess trigger. Okay. All right, plenty of cards to put back here. Let's put them back. We can play this out. I think we can go ahead and play the Steel Cutter out as our second spell. I mean, they're waiting for mana to go off. I think we just strip them their mana. They may have like a pact. So let's say we play this out. We get another trigger, so they take in 4. We won't get it for this, but we will get an extra token. Yeah, I think it's correct to just be patient and waste them. Okay, they opt to float here. That is fine. I don't care. I could have dazed that, but I don't think that's correct. I think we need all the interaction we can for the big turn. They were just cantripping. Dazing would have created an extra Prowess guy. We'll do that during their turn if we get into a fight, but it won't matter because the game probably just ends there. I'm going to let this happen. I know in the previous video, I didn't just let it happen. I am going to force here, and I'm going to pitch my daze. They're going to pact, and then I'm going to brainstorm. Oh, okay, they're going to die is basically what they just told me. I'm going to go ahead and get the Prowess here and get another token. It feels bad to like play this during my turn, but like we need to seize the moment here. We've just increased our power. Draw trigger. Wasteland's pretty good here. I'm going to put this Cori back. I don't think we need it. It doesn't really matter what we do here. I'm just going to waste, and then I'll have, like an easily counterable daze up. Was that correct? Because we could play a Cori and at least get a trigger. Yeah, we're not doing a lot of damage here. I don't know that it matters that much. I think our opponent is just new to the deck, and because, I don't know why they waited so long. Yeah, I think Wasteland, is that even good? They have to have a Dark Ritual type effect. It makes it harder for them to get what they need. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. And that does mean drawing like an extra, like we'll draw the Cori next turn. I probably would have resequenced that where I was drawing it this turn because I think it's unlikely they can rebuild so fast. But here, this is an example of like this is essentially doing 3 damage a turn cycle, which is not great, but it has a lot of potential. We've got 2 bodies. It's not easy to deal with. So what we're trying to do is just make their Necrodominance as weak as possible by mitigating or minimizing their life total. I'm glad I made this a double league because this is like going to be a really fast league if we keep queuing in a Necrodominance. Want to give people their YouTube money's worth, right? Right, so let's go ahead and... It doesn't do anything to cast. Well, it gives us Prowess. It puts damage on the board. I guess I'll do it. And then, of course, next turn I can equip it and do like 1 more damage. Yeah, they're going to be at 4. I can't imagine them winning, but they might have like some, beseech line they can win from here. It would be an incredible, sequence. But I feel like extremely lucky to have beaten this deck on, in the blind. Game 1. At this point, if they went for Necrodominance, I'd probably just let it resolve. It's just going to draw them 3 cards. And then I just save the days for something later. No, maybe I think that's probably a mistake. I think it's correct to fight over it. Okay, they're pedaling. They're pacting. This is okay. All right, I'm just going to daze this. They can pay for it, of course. I think they have another, but it will slow them down a little bit. They do have this that they can... Oh, I gave them Storm. Maybe that was a mistake. I've got 18 life, though. So they pay for it. Okay, and now they have a lot of mana. They're going to beseech. They're going to bargain this away. Tendrils keeps them alive for a turn. I can't think of what else they would get. Necrodominance doesn't really help that much. They can get me really low, but they're going to need to do it again. I don't actually even know if they can do it again. Do they have more than 1 in their deck? Take a look. Oh, they went the Necrodominance route. Okay. Good luck. I'll be very stunned if you can make that work. Okay. Well, maybe they can because Storm is 7. Like they only need 2 more Storm, or like they need 1 more Storm and then they need the mana to win. I've been really underwhelmed with this deck on the other side of the table from it. Like it's amazing how frequently it hits the fail rate. We'll see whether this is going to happen now. Yep. And now they draw their cards. They had to burn off the mana. Oh, wait. Yeah. They go to 1, 4 cards. Okay. Yeah. That was pretty quick concession. All right. So I think the plan is pretty simple. We bring in all the blue cards to get a bunch of red cards. Bolts make sense. They don't have like a sideboard juke. It's not like Oops where they can bring in creatures. Their deck is really glass cannon-y. Yeah, I'll just take out one bolt. All right, so this is a 1 interaction spell hand, but I think this is the best we're going to do. I'm going to keep this. We can waste them several consecutive turns, and that usually messes them up pretty badly because they don't actually have like that many lands. That hand just became insane. We drew the force. Okay, so we're just going to waste them twice in a row before we do anything. All right. Everything's coming up Millhouse here in the Be Excellent Resonance. Just deny them mana. And then we will get our Ponder going. I mean, we could even beat them down with this Brazen Borrow, but I think we can probably do better. Okay, and now they're out of lands. They're going to have to start going to discard soon. I'm going to hold that bubble for a second just because I want to see if I can find the Cutter. By the way, there's a guy named Cutter Slade who's super chill. And there's a movie called Cutter's Way, which sounds just like Cutter Slade. You may encounter Cutter Slade on MTG. Oh, he plays a lot of tempo. Yeah, Cutter's Way is a very cool movie. All right, so now that we have the combo with Cori-Steel, I don't want to just ship this Urza's Bauble. But we do, like, let's see, if we did it, we could potentially have double force. I think it is safest to just get a second force. I know that sounds like cowardly, but I'm going to do the cowardly thing here. And I'm just going to get another force blue card combo going in my hand. And I'm just going to take it super slow. This game is ours to lose. Take a look at their hand. Lotus Petal. Okay. So now we get our card, and now we have triple force up, which feels pretty good against their Pact of Negation deck, because you just let their Pact resolve, and then you counter a second time. They're playing that out so they don't have to discard. I don't think they have any sort of soft remission or anything. There's no reason not to just play the Cori-Steel out. We can use it later. Just be mana efficient. If we get into a force fight, it'll flip. I'm loving this mana base. Just like tons of fetches and like 4 duels and a basic island. I'm here for it. Like, it hasn't failed us yet. The mana is actually, like, because everything's so freaking cheap, we haven't gotten wasted out or anything like that. There have been a few touch and go. Like, I've had to put back hands that were just too sketchy because of the mana base, but it feels pretty good. All right. Part of me hopes they thought to use this just so they could see our hand, because it might speed up the game. This is not, like, super exciting gameplay for me. It was the first few times I was against these type of combo decks, but after a while, I just kind of like, Okay, so they are going to put something under it. Like, you know, we could just bounce that back to hand and remove a mana source and, like, kind of annoy them. I don't know that Borrower gets any better. If we get a land, we can cast it out. Okay, so we could just go ahead and cantrip a bunch. Yeah, I think that's fine. As long as we're cantripping into blue cards. I'm going to start with the Brainstorm. Okay, this does trigger Cori, but we don't have... Oh, wait, we can shuffle. So just put this back, and I'll just put it back into my hand. No, that doesn't work. Okay, let's trigger Cori here. We get 3 damage instead of 2. How comfortable do we feel going off of this Hydroblast? Yeah, let's go ahead and ponder. Okay, we definitely don't need that Wasteland right now. I think I just leave it like this, and I will just shuffle next turn, but I do want to have my forces back up. Okay, let's go in for a hug. I'm pretty sure that like this is worth so much more as a blue card than just bouncing something out of play. Like a Chromox, yeah, they would have discarded anyway. Yeah, all right. So we draw a Wasteland. We can brainstorm it back. We just need to make sure we do hit a blue card here. So we have our 3 forces up because we're like extremely greedy for being insulated. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Yeah, like we could just keep 4 forces up, I guess. I don't know. What am I supposed to do here? I guess I don't really need these lands. I'll put these back. Then we'll play out the lands. Yeah, otherwise we have to go to discard. And then yeah, I'm just going to attack. I'm not going to try to make more things. I'm not going to do anything cute. I'm just going to patiently chip away at their life total while we, you know, have this overwhelming advantage. I mean, like literally all forces plus a force negation plus a Hydroblast. It just doesn't get much more beautiful than this. If they play a land, I'll be kind of embarrassed because I did kind of misplay in terms of like stacking my deck. Okay, it looks like they're going to go ahead and do the Metamorphose, which I'm not going to interact with. Well, actually, if I shut this down, it probably just means they're going to take another turn, and we'll get more damage in. So maybe it is worth just hydring this while we can. And if they decide it's go time, they're doing it from a point of relative disadvantage. So you don't get your card. All right. Shuffle this away. Get Valk number 3. Wasteland. I can just hold that. Just come in for a hug. Yeah, I'll just hold the Wasteland. It doesn't serve any benefit. We can double our clock or really dramatically improve our clock. 1.5 it. Or I guess it's a 2.5 it. Right, yeah, I'll let that one resolve. I'm going to let all the mana resolve. I don't care about the mana. I'll just stop the payload spell. I don't know that they're playing discard spells. They may be. They bargained that. Well, I'm just going to do this. That resolves. Now I will force this. I'll pitch a borrower. We get another token. This does speed up our clock, but it doesn't matter because they already cast Pact. Okay, yeah, that was freaking easy. And it's because that deck sucks. Don't play that deck. I genuinely think it's just a worse version of Oops. Okay, so it's bedtime for me. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up, get a big day of work, and I'll come back and try to finish this double league. But we are 3-0. We're doing great. So this will be instantaneous. You'll just be over there, but know that I'm not going to be all whispering and stuff. I'm going to be much more exuberant for the final 2 rounds. See you then. Round 4, we're up against a likely Stompy player, Blue Stompy. Patchwork Automaton Stompy. This is what they were playing a couple days ago. I don't really want to throw back a hand that has DRC. I am worried that we play this out and they just have removal for it and we have literally nothing going on. I feel like we can do better. This does have Cori, but we have to draw. I think I'm going to keep this. Merc could come down pretty quick. They mulled the 6 as well. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire off 2 of the... I'll put back 1. It may be more useful than Merc. I don't know. I'm actually not sure how good this is in multiples. Technically, each of these would trigger. So we could... Cori... I don't want to hold these is the problem. I can't stand still. I'm going to go all in on it, though. And if they're on a Blood Moon deck, this is the best hand of ever, but we'll see what happens here. I think first I want to just get some more information. I am going to definitely hold 1. I don't know that I hold more than 1. Soul Guide Lantern, so it's probably an Urza Saga strategy, which would be in line with this. Can we out aggro they wouldn't be play Wasteland, so we are safe to go ahead and play it out. I guess I'll go ahead and just get a little bit more information here because I do want to make sure we get our land. Mox Opal. Okay, it's definitely an A-cast type deck. I'm just going to play this out and I'll pass. We'll get 2 cards. My opponent said, this isn't beans. Okay, we got Cori going next turn. We just have to hope that they don't have Rebuke or something even more dangerous. Soul Guide. All right, so they have that on. They can take out one of these. They can remove our graveyard at will. So I am glad I put back. Yeah, that's annoying. They can just pop this. Okay. They put one of these Memories Guardians, which they can now cast for 1 with 2 blue mana. They've got a bauble. They just got all 4 artifacts. And then they got the Shadow Spear, which allows them to race. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go for Cori. Okay, so this will trigger. So I'd like to use the ability. Let's go ahead and peek at their next card. Petal. I'll just come in for a hug and we'll pass. Looking for Bolt. Don't want to have to burn this Ponder, but open to it. We draw a Bolt. Okay, so next turn we have Bolt. We have Ponder and Bolt, which I think is pretty good. They're going to put that into play. We can actually overpower that with our current one. Oh no, Urza Saga. Wait, did we know that they had Urza Saga? We knew that they had this, and we knew that they had this. Okay, so Memories Guardians coming in. This is out of Bolt range. So how big are these constructs? I think they're fatally big. Okay, so options. 1, we could play Cori. Then we could bolt and hope they give us something to force. They may interact with that if we try to take out their Emery. Emery's already done some damage. I'm going to go ahead and fetch. So I'm just trying to think in terms, like I do think it's correct to play a Cori here. Oh wait, actually when we bolt, it does trigger Cori. So I'm going to go red, blue, Cori, trigger. If we have to force now, then we don't get the trigger. They're metallic rebuking here. If I force back, I don't get the trigger. I do get the bigger steel cutter, or Cori. I get the bigger monk. The main problem is next turn, this is going to be an absolute ordeal. So we could force this. Then we do create a token and we add it. And then we bolt and we're attacking for quite a bit. I think I do want this in. Even though I'm not going to get the trigger this turn, hopefully I'll be able to get the trigger like on a future turn. I'm not actually sure how we ever get the trigger because we never go up. I will equip that. Okay, so we get our Cori in. We get the Prowess trigger. This comes in. We've already cast our... I'm tempted to like just bolt here to get this up to 4 just so we can swing in, but like that doesn't do anything about this one. The other option is we could just bolt here and attack, but I don't like them being able to bring back yet another one. I do think we need to get rid of that this turn. I think what I'll do is I'll just attack with this and see what they do. And then end step, I can bolt after they've decided whether to block. They decide not to block. Okay. That's not terribly surprising. Now we bolt here. I guess I could have attacked with that too. No, it wouldn't have mattered. Okay. So the main problem is not this. They're at 1 card, but they have this Urza Saga, so they're going to create giant constructs. The only thing that answers the constructs in our entire deck, they have one of those from hand. That's pretty good. They do have the ability to create a construct in step. That's a pretty good draw. If we waste the seat, they only get 1. We waste the seat. It reduces the size. And then this goes and gets something. I don't know what it gets. They've already got the Shadow Spirit. This probably just gets like another Mox or something. I think it is correct to go ahead and just deny them that permanent. So they have to use their pedal here, so it's not as big as it would be. And now, because they're not going to get the other permanent, this is currently a 6/6. It's still ridiculously large. Yeah, we're going to take a ton here. I can't attack. Basically, what we have to do is we have to hope we hit cantrip into cantrip so that we can buff these. I mean, there's always the dream of hitting cantrip into cantrip into cantrip or something like that. We have 3 mana. They found another Urza Saga. The game seems very over to me. They can swing for 12 here and then not necessarily fear the crackback. They got another Emery, which is a chumper. But again, we do have haste. So we could live the absolute dream of finding, cantrip into cantrip into cantrip. I can't block this. We're dead. Next turn, they have lethal. So we do need that cantrip into cantrip into cantrip. All right, we're going to concede. Yeah, Urza Saga is really rough for these decks to deal with, in my opinion. But the good news is we do have Pyroblasts, which are coming in, and we have Meltdowns, which are very good against them. I think the cards that come out, we can use these removal spells, and I like the fact that they're also direct damage. We could just cut the forces and just go like much more aggro. They basically just upgraded all our forces. There may be some cards in our opponent's deck that we can't hang with. Patchwork, I think we can attack through that. I don't think it'll get that big that quickly. It might. Clown Car. I mean, a lot of this stuff gets melted down. Yeah, let's think about how good Meltdown for even 0 would have been last game. This is not a price of progress matchup. They don't usually have a lot of lands in play when they end the game. They're not playing Chalice. See, sideboard also doesn't have Chalice in it. Right. I think in terms of cutting things that are impactful, Daze is like less good against Stompy decks. I think we can safely determine Daze. I do like Murktide. We have a high density of creatures or of instants and sorceries. Yeah, let's run it. And we've trimmed a lot of blue cards, but we also trimmed a whole lot of... We trimmed all of our forces. This is a snap keep. Chain Lightning answers Emery. Daze is good enough in terms of interaction. So we do have the combo next turn, but if we put this in the yard, we do get closer to Delirium. No, actually we don't. I think I'm going to keep this because we have the combo. And then I'm going to really hope they don't give me anything to Daze or to Wasteland so I can actually get the combo going. Okay, they're drawing Memories Guardian. They may have like a big turn. We'll see. The only card I will definitely waste is an Urza Saga if they leave with that. I guess I have to waste that, sadly. I can't imagine a world in which it's correct to leave this in play. Okay, I am going to go ahead and waste immediately. See if they have any response to that. I think I'm going to go ahead and bolt. This means that any creature or instant gets Delirious. That goes in the yard. I could have Dazed that, but that seems extremely wrong to do so. So we're just going to trust that they're going to give us something to Daze here, and we can go for it next turn. The other option was, of course, to just burn our bauble, but I do want to keep the Cori-Steel Cutter Dream alive. That is unfortunate. Now we are without a paddle here. We just have to hope that we find another land. All right, I'm coming in for one. They don't have anything going on, but neither do we. I absolutely should have played out Mishra's Bauble. That was a huge punt. I need to find land. That would have gotten us there to Delirium. That's very embarrassing. Wait. No, it wouldn't have. Never mind. But we're not looking to draw. We're looking to draw lands. Sinking the super on the top. All right. Let's go team land. Right on. Okay. So they don't play a ton of lands. They just shocked in against a Delver deck. That can't feel good. Hydroblast here. I can't do anything about it, unfortunately. Another Cori. I've never seen an 8-cast deck play Wasteland. I think the correct call is just to wait with his bolt and trust that we're going to have some mana later. Any land source. Okay, we're just going to pass. I mean, bolt, like they're low in life, but I'd much rather kill an Emery. They have that guy in hand, the flyer guy. Okay, I'm going to let that resolve and I'll bolt it. The graveyard is just Mox Opal, but they have the Memories Guardian. I don't want them to get any value for this. Okay. Gosh, this sucks. I mean, like if they get too aggressive with this Ancient Tomb, we can bolt, but yeah, that's such a beating. So this is on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bolt. I need to hold priority here. So I'm pretty sure, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure I did set the settings here yesterday, and I just want to make sure that it is correctly configured. Okay, so I have it set to shift. It's right here. Just in case this doesn't work, I want to make sure like nobody thinks I'm a fool. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cancel. I'm going to hold down shift the entire time I cast this. Now that's on the stack, and I'm going to daze. They cannot stop me from dazing that back to hand. Okay, so we saved our land. Crazy that they're playing freaking Wasteland in their 8-cast deck. Yeah, that was a desperate thing to do, but like, we can't. Yeah, I didn't want to lose that land because it just puts us even farther from Cori. Yep, that's good. All right. I'll just check their top deck to make sure it's not a Wasteland. I think at this point, we do want to play this out even though they might have a Wasteland. Okay, so Flusterstorm, that's good to know about. I'm going to play this out and I'm going to pass. Another Bauble. Can't do anything about that. I'm not going to just daze just to slow them down. This is dazeable. They have Fluster, but yeah. They don't have mana. Obviously, like you would never counter a daze. You just pay for it. Okay. The only spell you would counter a daze with would be a free spell when you don't have mana. Okay. Pyro. I think I'm going to go ahead and play this out first. Just check their hand. We know they have Fluster. What else do they have? Hydroblast. Okay, that's good to know about. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fire this off. There could be something more important, but they will have mana next turn. I'm just going to get this pressure off. It feels super weak, but like with both Fluster and Hydroblast in their hand, like I don't know how we actually win. That land is certainly part of us winning. Okay, Patchwork. They're down to 6. So I'm going to go for Cori-Steel Cutter, and they're going to Pyro it or Hydro it. Now we're getting lands. Okay, how many lands do we have left in our deck? I'm not going to play Scared. This is going to be Hydroed. Yep. Okay, they're being very disciplined about not cracking this. I guess they need this for Metalcraft if they draw. Yeah, no, they don't need it anymore for Metalcraft. I imagine things are going to go south for us very quickly. Another patchwork that triggers the patchwork. Okay. Any bolt type effect would be great here because we'd get a hasty creature. That is insane. Okay, they have tapped out. Let's go get our other Volk and bolt their face. All right. Now let's go in for a hug. If they want to block to save a damage, they can. They're at 1. They can no longer tap that Ancient Tomb. They're cashing in the bauble now. We've got 12 life. It's going to be harder for them to tempo us when we can just swing in. That does a lot. Any freaking burn spell, and we can win this, I think. They have a Fluster, but it will still trigger the Cori. Oh, no. They've got a lot of blocking power now. Can they win from here? Thought Monitor. I think we're going to lose. That's 9 power. They didn't tap out of blue completely. They still have this for the Fluster. If we just draw Bolt, we can just pay for Fluster. We have 1, 2. We still have a lot of bolts in our deck. Oh, no. Is this enough? This is 11. Any, like, Opal anything, and they can just play it and we die. Good game. Yeah, that felt... It doesn't feel like a bad matchup, but, like, I don't know why we lost. I'm not sure if I just approached it the wrong way, but, like, definitely didn't expect Wasteland. I've never played against an 8-cast deck with Wasteland in it. So, yeah, we'll see you in the final round. Hopefully we can still get the 4-1. Final round, we're up against a likely Stompy player. They've played like Initiative and stuff like that. This doesn't actually have a creature in it, but if they are on exactly Initiative, it's not terrible. I can just Island Ponder and hope to line up land number 2. We do have a Daze. Yeah, I'll keep this. This is a fine hand. Double Daze with a Wasteland. Just hope we're not up against a Wasteland deck. They mulled a 6. I will take up Force off the Ponder if I find it. So this is a land and a Steel Cutter, which we can actually trigger next turn. If they have a Thoughtseize effect, it makes sense to just take the land first. We are going to need a land either way. I think most likely we're going to need a turn because we're probably going to waste or Daze, one of the two. So I will just take the land first. And then if in a desperate situation, if we learn some new information, we can shuffle away that bauble and we can just hope to trigger the Cori some other way. And again, I know like cutter would be the actual noun. Cori-Steel is kind of the adjective, but I'm just going to call it Cori because every time I do, I think of Corey Feldman singing on stage with this dramatic. I'm telling you, it is not a waste of your time to like just go on YouTube and search Corey Feldman. Of course, he's in classic movies like The Lost Boys and what are some other good ones he's been in? Goonies. Don't chalice me. That is not death. That is brutal, though. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to just keep the Cori and the bauble coming, and I'm going to waste them off this Ancient Tomb. There's Stompy deck. We want to deny the mana. We can always end step Bolt. We're not going to be able to get rid of that main deck unless we get extremely lucky. We can end step Bolt just for the purpose of like Delirium and also to make our opponent think we're a fool. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Chalice check. All right. So we'll go like this. I'm going to go get a Volk, blue, red, Cori, trigger. Yes, I'd like to use the ability. Let's go ahead and hit them here with Touch the Spirit Realm. That's good to know about. That is not something we can actually daze if they choose to use it on our token. But we do have other ways of getting Cori into play. Draw trigger. Unfortunately, that's not going to be castable. I can get another token, though, by DRCing and Chain Lightning. Ooh, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do this and just see if they go for the Touch the Spirit Realm. They may try to touch it in response. Felia. I can double daze that, and then I'll get a token. But that does mean I can't do anything else. But this being on the table is problematic. No, wait, they have two mana floating. I can't do that. Uh-oh, that's not good. Yeah, because they can attack and just start blinking our squad. Well, I am going to go ahead and just get Prowess and get a token. It sucks, but I think it's the way forward. Just to diversify our threats and do as much damage as quickly as possible. Now I'm going to go in for a hug with both. And if we double daze something, we get another token and we can attach the Cori-Steel. So we might be able to actually surprise block if they somehow like cast something during combat, which I can't imagine them doing. Yeah, now they start taking out one of our monks each time they attack, which is pretty brutal. And they still have 4 cards in hand. So this Chalice just soloed us. The fact that they had the mana, like the pedal, brutal. All right, and our dazes get worse every turn, but they may go for like some big haymaker. They're just passing to the end step. Okay. All right, so we didn't get a chance to trigger. I mean, we can just equip it if we don't have anything better to do. Yeah, I'm just going to equip it. I'll play this land out just because I do want to have mana out. Yeah, I feel like our adventure is going to come to an end here. I think this is a favorable matchup. That Chalice with the pedal was just brutal, though. And I don't think anybody should play around Chalice plus pedal when they're considering whether to keep a hand. I figured that they were a stompy deck, but... Oh, okay, they're not casting anything and they don't need to. So at this point, there's not really... Like, we could brainstorm, daze it, get a dude. I think I'll do that when they attack, and I'll try to take this out. Which sucks. But I think it's maybe our best play. They may have another touch, but we're not really accomplishing anything while this is happening. They're blinking that. That's fine. So I'm going to hold priority. I never have to do this, and now twice in the same league. I had to do this. Okay. Let's return this back to our hand. This triggers. Just show me the removal spell if you have it. Touch the Spirit Realm? Yeah, they have the freaking uncounterable. I don't think we're winning anymore. I just sank so many resources, but I'm going to hold out. Even if we find a Murktide, they're low enough. But that was not counterable, just to be clear. Like, it's not like I screwed up and didn't counter that. That was an effect, not a spell. Now they get their thing back. This becomes a 3/3. And it's much harder for me to potentially kill it now. Okay, I'm going to concede. I just don't see a feature for us here. Okay. So they seem to be on mono white. I think Meltdown is very good here because they do have like Moxen and stuff like that. I think it's reactionary to bring in Force Negation. I don't think that's what this matchup's about. Daze is pretty bad against them. We had like Daze in our hand the entire time. They played around it pretty well. Yeah, let's do this. Because they play basics and stuff, I don't think Price Progress is worth it. Like, I could definitely see trimming on 1-drops, but I'm going to just hope to find Meltdown or to stop the Chalice on the stack with a Force. It's not like they play Pyroblast or anything. Like, our Force should resolve to stop their Chalice if we have a Force on hand. This hand slaps. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Chalice is a beating, but we will have a DRC out. I mean, a big part, like if they go for initiative or something like that, like we've got counterplay, but like our entire hand is basically 1-drops. So, but whenever I get a DRC and Bobble hand that has decent mana, I can keep it. And by Delver's like the one deck I would say you can keep 1-landers. Like I would actually argue that if you're not keeping 1-landers, certainly in like a non-wasteland matchup, you're probably playing too conservatively. So I don't think we want this. We're almost certainly going to be wasting them. This does put a land type in the graveyard. And I seriously doubt they disrupt us. Anointed Peacekeeper. Okay. That's a good card. They look at our hand, so they just name Chain Lightning. If they have like that's good. We'll force Anointed Peacekeeper. Because I don't want to deal with a 3/3 on the ground. Now we can't force it. It's naming human, I bet. All right. Well, that's going to get wasted. We have a lot of instances in our deck. There's a high likelihood that if we Chain Lightning them, we will reveal an instant. That also gives us another look. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Chain Lightning, though, just because we might see a Cori that we want to keep. I mean, how long are we going to not draw land? I think I don't want land. Nothing in my hand. Like, I can just ramp these out one turn at a time, and it's fine. Let's see if we can find an instant. That I'm going to keep. Okay. I'll go ahead and look at a random card in their hand. They have City of Traders. I am going to go ahead and hit this land because we have another one for next turn. And they'll probably play a different land out. They won't play out the city first. So their disappearing land will waste itself. Okay, they had another cavern, so we will waste that again. All right. So we can waste and we can brainstorm. No, we can bolt. That does it even better. And then we can hold the brainstorm. So now we've got all our types and we still have force up. That goes to the yard. We're looking for, at this point, more wastelands. Days, I only have like, I think 2 in my deck, but it's still pretty good at this point, especially because their cards are counterable again. They don't have a lot of time. We're delvering them. This is what you want to do when you delver. You want to keep the DRC, bobble hand. I'm going to let them have that. They've got 7 cards in their hand. This is the Peacekeeper. I'm going to force it. I know that they could get rid of this and we'd be completely helpless, but I'm going to trust that we can dig. I mean, that does help us dig. What are we digging for? I think we're just digging for more burn. And I do want to burn their face, get them down to 4. Yeah, if we find burn, that just ends it. You call me greedy, but I think that's what we're supposed to do. We have 3 more burn spells in our deck. Wasteland is good too. Force doesn't help us here. We're going to chain lightning their face. Merc pairs well with force. Are we going to get a turn with it? I don't think so. I'm going to put it in the yard. They have to have explicitly like removal for this. They could put in an Archon of a Myriad. That's just like a 1-turn answer. Petal. They could have what's it called? Palace Jailer. That would be brutal. Touch the Spirit Realm. I can't interact. They've stabilized. Brazen Borrower does put that back in their hand, but they can just recast it. There wasn't a window for us to force or anything. That is a good draw. Keep those removal spells coming. All right, if we connect, they're 1 damage from death. That's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and swing first. I think we just hold this. They can blink this out of play. Yeah, I think this reduces the likelihood that they're going to survive. Yeah, wow, we tempoed the heck out of them. That felt amazing. Okay, so we have to hope we can do that again. Any changes? I'm like even lower on days after seeing how they played. I don't know about Price of Progress. It would have been good for maybe, what do they have? They actually, yeah. The other option is to bring in Force Negation. I don't like that at all though. So I'll just, my buddy Tom Nelson, Dallas-based previously, now he's in Philly, or Pittsburgh rather. He is an experienced Delver player, and he taught me that Delver does have card advantage. Even though it may not look like we have any card advantage in the deck, we have the form of card advantage that comes from ending the game with 0 cards in your hand while your opponent still has 5 cards in their hand. And that's like the real card advantage, is just them not even being able to cast their spells because they were under so much pressure. And that's what happened the previous game. So I think Pop might actually be fine. It's probably good for damage. I don't think they're going to be able to disrupt us. Long after they've stabilized, we may be able to pop them. I think it's better than Days. Especially because we're going to be basically playing out our entire hand, trying to trigger Cori and stuff. And we're likely to have a higher life count than they do. If things go south, ooh, yeah, this is a keep. Yeah, we got the Cori combo. We can like bolt their first threat. All right, I like that land. Feel free to do damage to yourself. Do we waste that land? I think we do. Yeah. I mean, they may have floated that out there, but they're a Stompy deck. And the reason it's called Stompy is because it plays Ancient Tomb. Do they have anything to do with this mana? I could have absolutely held it for a different one, but I could have hoped that they did damage to themselves. I don't like that strategy. I like just disabling them to the extent possible. They had another one. It's fine. Now we have a pretty good thing to do here, which is DRC into Bobble just to get our trigger immediately. We could be patient in Cori. I want to get the value out of this just in case they remove it. So let's think about this. So we have plenty of time to think. So we could potentially melt down for 0, remove some permanent and bolt them and trigger Cori that way. Yeah, maybe it's greedy to Bobble now, because we might be able to trigger Cori several turns in a row. I'm just going to chill. I know that may seem like weird, to do that, but like that's the whole point of having baubles in our deck is to trigger Cori. Okay, this is not good news. Now they have that Vigilance guy. They have the Archon, which is terrifying, but they're using human. Okay, this is Peacekeeper. This is the guy I was talking about. They have a choice to make here. They name Lightning Bolt. Okay, that protects their spell. All right. This is pretty sick, actually, because we can just get a big dude and attack in anyway. I'm going to keep this just in case I draw like a Brainstorm and need to shuffle. We can always bolt next turn. So Cori comes in, trigger. Let's bin something. I'll bin a land. Now, bauble, trigger. We'll equip. Bin. Do I want to bin a Chain Lightning? I don't actually know that I do. It does get us closer. I'm going to bin it. Actually, yeah, no, we're just one type away. Yeah. Because I can pay 3 mana and bolt them if I really want to clear that. Let's go ahead and take a look at their top card. They got City of Traders. I don't think they were going to want to be drawing that. If I can get this Delirious, it's huge. Let's try to get Delirious. Come on. I believe in you, DRC. That does it. Yeah, that's 3 types. It's pretty insane. So we'll come in for a hug, and then I'll just draw in their Incept. We are being the aggressor here. It's basically like a red deck with some burn and some cantrips. It feels very burny. Yeah. Pop! Pop goes the Stompy player. Okay, that's too bad. It's not a... but we know they have City of Traders, so we could wait a turn. Witch Enchanter. Can't do anything about this. It's going to take out my Cori. I still get to keep the token. That's fine. This is core? Human Warlock. It does not look human. It's got like weird merfolk things going on. Okay, well, yeah. I figured it'd be like core or something. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plow on top. That's good to know about. Let's see if we draw here. We get 2 draws. We get a Prowess trigger. If they don't block, we win? No, wait, we can't win because of freaking Anointed Peacekeeper. Oh, we get one more card. Okay. So, options. We can bolt this and then attack and then just bolt them again. This doesn't have trample. No, we won't be able to bolt twice is the thing. Okay, I'm going to bolt this out of the way, though, and just attack, and maybe we trade with that. That's okay. So I believe we just get an opportunity to pay 2 here. It is 2 mana. 2 colorless. All right, so we're going to cast that, and we'll pay the 2. That triggers. I don't really care about drawing that. I'd rather draw something relevant. That's dead. Now we can come in. I'm pretty sure they're going to trade here. They'd be crazy not to. They can plow us, but we do have, depending on what they play, whether they tap this, we can end them pretty quickly. I will attack with that. They've already gotten value out of it. Yeah, I figured they'd do that. Okay, so they are on their back foot. It's not a luck. Play that freaking City of Traders. Come on. That's fine. Now maybe they lower their guard. My kids are like screaming in the other room. All right, we're back. Our opponent has cast Seasoned Dungeoneer. I think we're going to 4-1 here. I'm trying to think of what they could do that would change things. Like if they already played their land for turn, so they're not going to be able to get a plow if they have a second plow to save themselves. They're going to take 6 from the pop. We also have the bolt. Okay, I'm going to play this out. I'm going to start by popping. And I think that'll just be... Yeah, I'm glad I put this in my deck. Okay, we win. All right, that is a 4-1. That felt great. The deck is tight. I'm learning how to play it. I got a bunch of play points. I got some chess. I don't know actually what I can do with these. I don't know what they do. I did get some play points back. So that the way the creator program works, actually, I don't know if I can talk about, I can't remember all the paperwork I signed, but basically you get to play a lot and you can run out of play points, but as long as you they give you more. Also, my understanding, and I hope I'm not jeopardizing my, play creator account by saying this, but I'm pretty sure they want us to tell you this. I'm going to be able to start giving out play points and bundles of 120 to different people that are tuning in to the channel. So I'm hoping to be able to gift some of you all play points so I can relieve the burden of getting into Legacy. And, that'll help you play the matches. Like, I think there's a steep learning curve. Like, I played a lot in Paper, and I considered myself to be pretty good at Legacy, just doing well at F&Ms and stuff. And when I got on MTGO, I just kept getting destroyed. And I was like, man, what's going on? Like, why am I doing so badly? And, it's the interface. It's the interface's fault, right? Oh, I'm just not used to all the hotkeys. Oh, like, no, it's that people are really freaking good on MTGO. They are like way better. Like, I've been to like the Tokyo Tournament Center and played against players there. And I would say like this is the Haruya Shinjuku location. I've been to Eternal Weekend twice now. Two times. And like, I would say that even at Eternal Weekend, until you get to until you've won like 3 or 4 rounds in a row, that's when you start to hit like the level of competition that you're going to hit on MTGO. So again, this is not really sponsored by MTGO, but they did let me play for free and gave me access to the cards and stuff. So take that with a grain of salt. But like, I've been singing the praises of practicing on MTGO if you're serious about winning at Legacy. And I will stand by that sentiment. So this was it wasn't actually a long video. I probably won't be that much longer than my normal Control videos because a lot of the matches went really quickly. But this was 10 rounds of Legacy. So if you stayed with me, do me a favor and comment below and say, I like double leagues. If you like me to do double leagues from time to time where I'm just like high energy and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. Then that gives me positive feedback because obviously it's twice the work to make a double league as it is to make just a single video. It's not exactly twice the work. I don't have to do, I don't have to do a second thumbnail. I don't have to do a second intro. But it is, and when I say work, I use that in air quotes. Like, I'm doing this on my free time. This is my hobby. I enjoy doing this. So I don't want anybody to think like, Be Excellent worked so hard on this video. No, I'm just thrilled to have this opportunity. And I hope you're enjoying these. If you have feedback on my play, any decisions I make, sequencing, mulligan decisions, things I should have picked up on that I didn't pick up on, like reading my opponents and stuff like that, just let me know. I very much value that. I will never shoot the messenger. I will always reply, hopefully politely and, gratefully that you have taken the time out of your day to help me be more excellent. And I hope you also, until next time we meet, will be excellent to each other and party on.